The story starts with a hooded figure hiding on top of a castle roof, waiting for all the lights to shut off so he can enter the area and kill his target. But before he could jump in, he senses someone behind him and looks back to find a black-haired young boy standing on top of one of the towers staring at him from afar. An immediate chill runs down the hooded man, who thinks that this boy must be another hitman just like him. But on a closer look, he realizes that this boy is none other than the legendary silent assassin known for his overpowered abilities. The hooded man realizes that there is no hope for an escape and he must fight his way through this. So he immediately runs to get a better angle and throws a bunch of sharpened metal spikes at the silent assassin. Unfortunately for him, though, the assassin is too quick and dodges the attack effortlessly before running straight at the hooded man. The man pulls out his dagger and tries to end it in a single thrust, but the black-haired boy manages to block and deflect the attack with his own dagger in the blink of an eye. They go back and forth on the rooftop before their boy expertly disarms his opponent. The hitman is not going to go down so easy, though, as he again throws a bunch of spikes, which the assassin dodges. But this creates an opening for the hooded man to strike. Unfortunately for him, the black-haired boy already thought this through and slips past the attack, appearing behind him. The hooded hitman starts getting desperate as he realizes that the power difference between them is enormous and tries to throw everything he's got at the younger assassin. The boy, however, stays calm, deflecting and blocking every single slash and strike that the hitman threw at him, even blocking his secret hidden shoe blade. With that, the hitman is left without any tricks in his bag, while the assassin simply stabs him in the arm before breaking his legs, leaving him on the ground. The hitman can't believe how effortlessly the boy handled him, but accepts his defeat as a sword falls from the sky, ending his pain forever. With his competition out of the way, the assassin enters a room of his target, who is sleeping on the bed without any clue of the danger he is in. He strengthens his resolve once more and brings up his dagger to stab the target, completing his mission. Just a little while back, this deadly assassin was a normal, lonely teenager named Akira from Japan who went to high school and preferred spending his time by himself, reading mangas on his phone. Most of his classmates never cared about him. But one fateful day, a sudden tear in their reality happens, and him alongside all of his classmates gets transported to a completely different world in the middle of a court. They all get scared, wondering whether it is a dream or some kind of prank when an old mage arrives through a door, claiming that the royal majesty would like to have a word with them. None of them understand what the hell is happening, while some think that this is some kind of a costume party. But soon the king enters a room with a princess and welcomes them to the new world where they are being called by a special magic ritual. The king immediately gets down to business, claiming that he is the ruler of the biggest human kingdom, which is currently under the threat of an attack from the demons, that he claims that only a hero from another world possesses the true power to defeat the demon lord once, and for all otherwise, they all will be doomed for death and destruction. The mage then moves forward, claiming that they need to find who the hero is, and instructs everyone to move forward and place their hands on the magic crystal. One by one of the excited boys goes ahead first, placing his hands on the crystal only to reveal his status, which turns out to be nothing but an animal trainer. He seems disappointed, but the mage tells him not to worry since he still has the stats far beyond the reach of any normal person. One by one, the students learn their status as some become mags, some knights, and some become healers. Akira notices something odd, though, as everyone seems to have the starting stats of 180, whereas his stats as an assassin are 10 times at 1,800. Finally, the next boy named S moves toward the crystal ball, and is revealed to be the hero among them all with starting stats of 1,000. The old mage congratulates him, claiming that the starting stat of every single person is sealed at maximum 500, but since he is a hero, his stats are double that. This proves that something is wrong with Akira's stats, as his stats seem to be nearly twice that of the hero himself. Everyone cheers for Soto since he is the most popular guy in the class, while one of Akira's classmates pushes him to reveal his stats to everyone as well. Akira thinks about the situation that they are in, and considering that they know nothing about this world or how it operates, he feels like it's stupid to reveal such an abnormal number, and he should first get more information about it. With everyone's stats sorted and the hero revealed, the old mage claims that they will all be given weapons and other equipment according to their classes, and sends them off to their rooms for the night. While returning back to their rooms, he also notices a hidden camera, which means that these people are monitoring them, which is definitely fishy. So, he decides to use a concealed presence ability to slip past them. Once in his room, he dresses up appropriately before going out on the balcony, soaking in the fact that he really is in another world, With that, he decides that he should soon start working on getting more information. And with a jump or two, he scales the wall to the top of the castle without breaking a sweat. He looks back at his own insane abilities. He suddenly notices an open window and sneaks his way into the work chamber of the king himself, who asks the princess whether everything is going according to the plan. The princess replies that the kids from the other world don't seem to have any idea about what's happening, and none of them have much magical abilities to be of any issue. The king tells her to keep an eye on them before focusing back on his work. With his concealed presence skill, Akira is basically invisible as he stands beside the king, wondering how easy he could kill this man right now, but decides against it. The next morning, Akira sits down on the breakfast table with the rest of his classmates who seem to have no worries at all. While Soto, the popular good guy, stands up and gives a cringe about how they all are much stronger than they were in their own world. So they should all focus on helping the people of this world with their abilities and fight against the demon lords just as the king instructed. Everyone in the class echo their agreement with the stupid plan while Akira contemplates whether he should reveal what he has discovered since these idiots are assuming that the king and the princess are their allies. After breakfast, the students are all assembled in the training ground where the Lord Commander of the Royal Army named Saren introduces himself and claims that since they are all newbies, he will be helping them train so that after a month they could go down a dungeon and actually test their abilities. Soto immediately rallies everyone, claiming that they will do their best while Akira is still concealing himself and silently observing the circus from afar. He decides to go on his own to get some more information, but to his surprise, he gets followed by Saren, who hands over the class to his lieutenant, Gil. Akira wonders whether his concealed present ability wore off or has a maximum duration to be active, but Saren simply smiles, claiming that he doesn't need to worry as his abilities seem to be working fine. He reveals that he himself is gifted with mystical eyesight, which allows him to see the difference in temperature. So basically, he is a walking thermal camera. Akira gets on edge and puts his hand on the blade, asking whether they are going to have any trouble, but calmed him down, claiming that he has no intention of outing him to the king or the princess. Akira is still skeptical and asks whose side he is actually on, but Saren replies that it's much more complicated and can't be explained so easily. Realizing that he is not lying, Akira lowers his guard slightly and mentions that he wants to visit the library to gain as much information as possible. When Saren asks what level is his concealed ability, Akira reveals that it's already maxed out, which is pretty crazy, but the rest of his abilities are only level 1, and he has no idea how to increase it. Smiles, claiming that Hudson help him with that since he will not get what he wants from the library anyways. Akira wonders how much to trust him, but he can't deny the fact that the thought of getting stronger isn't exciting. He controls his emotions and asks Saren how exactly does he get back home, but Saren replies that even he has no clue about that. But he knows that Akira needs to grow as strong as possible since he can only find a way to get back home if he stays alive. Akira claims that he doesn't like taking help for free, so Saren replies that to pay him back. Akira can tell him more about his own world. This seems to do the job as Akira shakes hands with Saren, the first person in this world he decides to trust. Soon he starts learning about other races in this world like the Beast People and the Elves who have their own separate continents. He also continues to train his physical and mental abilities, claiming that training is the only way to level up his skills and get better while his class also trains separately under the tutelage of Gil's Point. One evening, he goes to meet with Saren as he finds a book which he is sure is written by the Lord Commander. Saren grabs a book and smiles, claiming that it is indeed a plan to overthrow the king written by him and disguised as a cookbook. Saren reveals that the king is a broken man beyond repairs who is going to do something really crazy in order to change how the world operates, and Saren can't let it happen to AT the same time. He is a commander of the Royal Knights who have a holy duty to protect the king. Akira understands his problem and reveals that he had the opportunity to kill the king the very night they were summoned here, but he couldn't bring himself to use his dagger. Saren replies warmly that he made the right decision, as just because he is an assassin doesn't mean that he has to commit murders. Finally, a month passes by and the heroes are all ready to enter the dungeons and are greeted by almost all the city, clapping and cheering for them. In the distance, however, Akira notices a hooded girl glaring at them, so he uses his skills to appear behind her, catching her off guard. He asks why she's staring at them with such rage, and the blue-haired girl replies that everyone in the city is hailing him and his mates as heroes, but she knows the sacrifice which was made in order to summon them here. Akira admits that he has no idea about any sacrifice, but just like an NPC, she tells him to figure it out by himself and moves away. Soon, They enter the dungeon where monsters are appearing from every corner, and every single stone seems to be a trapdoor, revealing even more monsters. The students all look tired and weak, while Akira wards off as many attackers as possible before asking Saren whether they should return. Saren replies that they have done well enough for the day and uses his divine skill to clear a path in front of them. Gil instructs them all to run towards the exit, but they all find themselves still underground and blocked by a bunch of monsters. Suddenly, the Cringe Lord Sodto remembers the smoke bomb the princess gave them, claiming that this will ward off the monsters. So, he throws the bomb towards them, but to his horror, emerges from the smoke. Gil arrives at the scene, shocked to see a Minotaur at the upper floors. They are supposed to be much deeper in the dungeons. Akira immediately jumps into action, dodging the blow and jumping on top of the Minotaur, stabbing him in the head. But to his surprise, his dagger snaps into little pieces, forcing him back. Sodto stays on the ground, too weak to lift his sword, but Akira tells him to stay back as he is supposed to be the hero who defeats the Demon Lord. Commander Saren arrives at the scene, realizing how bad of a situation they are really in when Akira suggests he use his special ability and leave the rest up to him. Saren tells him that it could be dangerous, but after seeing the resolve in Akira's eyes, he decides to go ahead and cast a spell. Immediately, a huge lightning bolt shocks the Minotaur. While Akira positions himself behind the monster, ready to strike, Akira activates his shadow magic and sends sharp spikes made of pure darkness towards the Minotaur, who is still struggling with Saren's lightning bolt. However, the Minotaur manages to break free of it soon and targets Akira. Unaware that he has already cast a spell as the Minotaur swings his heavy axe toward Akira, his hand is pierced by the dark spikes. Akira pierces its body with even more spikes, and once he is confident that it can't break free from them so easily, he starts pulling it down into the dark abyss under its feet. The Minotaur is swallowed by the abyss and the spikes uproot its head right before it completely vanishes. Everyone is stunned to see that Akira managed to defeat such an incredibly strong monster. But then suddenly his powers go out of control. Everyone panics as he tries to retract the shadow spikes, but luckily Saren steps up to help him calm down. Thanks to his guidance, Akira manages to regain control of his power, deactivating his shadow magic, though he feels lucky that he is still alive, and Saren tells him that he really exceeded his expectations today. Once they return from the dungeon, Saren thanks for saving everyone's life, but he doesn't feel that he deserves all the credit. He says that without Saren there to back him up, he couldn't have defeated the Minotaur, especially because he hadn't been able to cast shadow magic properly in training. Saren remarks that it is the first time he has heard about an extra skill called shadow magic, and he agrees that Akira can barely control the spell right now. He warns him to be careful about using it the next time, and then decides to give him a samurai sword that the first hero forged himself. Akira takes the sword and asks Saren why doesn't he give it to the current hero instead of him, and the commander replies that Sodto already has a holy sword. However, the bigger reason is that Saren stole the sword from the royal treasury, and giving it to the stupid hero will get him arrested in no time. Akira gladly accepts the sword, and then finds that there are some inscriptions near the hilt. The first one reads Yato no Kami, and in the next inscription, the first hero wishes that his sword may guide his successor in times of trouble. Akira says that he would have liked to meet the first hero. Talking about the hero, Akira remembers the curse that was cast on Sodto and how they couldn't break it no matter how many times the enchanter tried. He feels something fishy is going on, and Saren has a theory about it. The person behind the curse is actually the princess who is trying to turn Sodto into her puppet using a dark magic ritual. However, Akira arrives there right on time and destroys the magic crystal she was using to perform the ritual. The princess gets mad and asks how dare he enter a woman's bedroom without her permission, and Akira simply points his sword at her, saying that a witch who curses other people is not a woman, though he asks her why the hell is she doing this, and the princess replies that it is all for the sake of the king. Akira asks her why is she obeying the king, and the princess repeats a previous statement with eyes that seem devoid of life and reason. Akira realizes this too and leaves the room. But the princess has more magic crystals that she plans to use to curse the rest of the students. Meanwhile, Akira takes a crystal to Saren's place and tells him that he was right about the princess cursing Sodto. Seems like it is not a new thing because Saren remarks that she has not yet given up on her evil acts. He asks Akira if he showed his face to the princess, and he affirms, saying that he wanted to have a proper conversation with her, but she was not very good with her words. Saren replies that the princess is no more than a puppet for the king right now, and then tells Akira to not sleep inside the palace tonight. Akira is curious about the reason, and Saren explains that the princess can curse anyone but not him since he never revealed his status to her. That means she will try to get him killed instead, and Saren wants him to stay away from the palace. Akira asks if he is not going to scold him for carelessly showing his face, and the commander replies that teenagers are supposed to be impulsive and reckless, and it is a duty of adults like him to cover it up. The next morning, Akira wakes up to a commotion coming from the palace, and once he reaches it, he finds a huge crowd gathered. He notices that Sodto is free from the curse and asks what is going on here. Sodto replies that Saren is dead, and Akira can't process that news. He runs through the crowd to see Saren's dead body lying on the floor with a dagger through his heart. Akira is devastated at losing his only friend in this world, but his classmates tell him to stop acting because they believe he is a killer. They point out that the dagger used to kill Saren belongs to him, and Akira reminds them that his dagger shattered in the fight against the Minotaur. However, no one is willing to listen to him, and they accuse him of being shady and untrustworthy ever since they all came here. Akira wonders if they are under the princess's curse, and he is proven right by the way they all blame him. Only Sodto comes up to his defense, saying that they need to investigate the matter thoroughly. But the king declares that Akira will be executed for assassinating their beloved commander. He orders his guards to take him down, but Akira uses a skill to hide his presence and slips away unharmed. As the king sends his troops to search for him all over the palace, Akira goes to Gil, who reveals that the elite assassination unit killed Saren under direct orders from the king. The assassination squad is after him too, but Saren anticipated it and he has prepared travel supplies in his room. Gil tells Akira to take the supplies and flee, and he thanks the vice commander before rushing to Saren's room to grab the items, but forgetting a smaller pouch in a hurry. At night, the king talks about how Saren went down more easily than he thought, and now there is no one who can oppose them. The princess tells him that the brainwashing of all the students except the hero is complete, and now they just need a reason to start a war with their neighboring kingdoms. The king is pleased to hear this, and he tells the princess to dispatch the assassins after Akira to make sure that he doesn't survive long enough to become a threat to them. Meanwhile, Akira is hiding in the dungeon because Saren once told him that it is the best place to avoid people chasing after him. But the only thing it lacks is clean drinking water. The dungeon is also the best place to level up and improve one's skills, but most people don't do it because it is too dangerous. Saren had warned Akira that even his presence-concealing skill won't protect him from high-level monsters who have incredibly sharp senses. But if he levels up enough, he will be able to erase his scent and even his body temperature to fool almost anyone. Following his words, Akira begins going deeper into the dungeon, fighting powerful monsters like flame hounds who explode upon dying. Akira remembers that Saren once told him about the special skill that everyone receives after reaching level 100, and how it makes them really stronger. Defeating the dungeon bosses is the quickest way to get more experience, but it is also a life-or-death battle that he cannot run away from once it starts. Akira is determined to grow strong quickly at all costs, and after defeating the flame hounds, he enters a boss room where a gigantic demon lion is waiting for him. The lion monster immediately starts attacking him, and Akira dodges everything, but he doesn't notice that the monster's tail is a snake that can spit venom as he is caught off guard by the venom. The monster stabs him with its claw. Akira realizes that he is lucky to even be alive right now, but he doesn't plan to give up yet as the lion flings him away. Akira decides to go all out and unleashes his shadow magic. The dark spikes immediately pierce the monster and rip it to pieces, but Akira can't control it for long as he passes out. However, a male voice comes from inside him, saying that the master has taken too much damage, so the shadow magic will be activated forcefully. The shadow quickly moves closer to his body and enters healing mode using the mana stored in his shadow magic to heal his injuries. Back in the palace, Sodto tells his classmates that they should head out to defeat the demon lord now, but most of them tell him that it is not the right time since the knight commander just died. Sodto insists that they need to start moving now or it will be too late. But most of the students are under the curse and they tell him it is pointless. Sodto declares that he will go alone in that case. But fortunately, there are some people who are willing to come with him. Sad doesn't understand why they would choose to follow him when they are cursed, but they are confident that they have gotten over their curse. The enchanter says that she has been able to differentiate between cursed and normal people, and she is sure that everyone here is free from the curse. The tall swordsman Asa takes credit for it, saying that he vaguely remembers cutting some strange crystals in an unknown room. He doesn't remember how he got there or how he found a samurai sword. But ever since then, few students were free from the curse. Turns out it was Gil who made that happen. His skill suggestion is more powerful than any curse when it comes to making his target do just one simple action. He is glad that he could save at least a few students because that was Saren's last order. And now he can only wish them luck for their journey. Meanwhile, Asahi thinks that they need to team up with Akira as soon as possible because he was the only one who knew the truth when they were all cursed. He remembers a time from the real world when he found Akira working a part-time job at a railway crossing. Akira asked him to keep it a secret because he didn't want his classmates and little sister to find out about his job. And Asahi had no issue with that. As they started talking about their sisters, they learned that the girls were best friends, and that gave them a reason to be on good terms with each other. Back in the dungeon, Akira wakes up dreaming about the incident, too, and he wonders if Asa is safe. He suddenly notices that his body is feeling a lot better than it should and opens his status to find that his stats have gone up and his HP is back to full. Not only that, his shadow magic skill has leveled up even though he used it only once, and he can't understand how all that is possible. However, he doesn't have time to think about it and decides to keep going deeper into the dungeon. He soon reaches the 75th floor of the dungeon, and a slime monster immediately attacks him. Akira is surprised to see a slime on lower floors and immediately slashes it, and surprisingly a pretty elf falls out of the monster's remains. Akira is confused by it, and he decides to use a skill called World Eye that he never got the chance to use before. The moment he uses the skills, he sees a lot of horrifying things that almost make him throw up, but he cancels the skill before it can overload his mind with new information. Just then, the elf girl Amelia wakes up and Akira asks her if she is all right. She replies that she is fine, but Akira doesn't trust her because he saw her status earlier and found that her HP had dropped to just 2% earlier. He also knows that Amelia has the World Eye skill too, and she has already used it on him. She calls him by his name and asks what this place is, and he tells her that it is a dungeon where he is trying to level up. He then starts lecturing her about how it is not good manners to spy on other people's status, but she suddenly collapses into his arms. Akira finds that she has a fever, and he brings her up to the 69th floor to recover. Amelia is startled as she wakes up, but Akira tells her to drink water so that she stays hydrated. He gives her porridge to eat after that, and she asks him why did he bring her all the way to the 69th floor from the 75th floor. Akira replies that this was the nearest floor with a water source, and then asks her to get some rest. She thanks him for saving her, and then reveals that she is a princess, but Akira doesn't really care about that. Soon after that, Amelia fully recovers and joins Akira on his journey as he reaches the 80th floor of the dungeon. She uses a gravity magic to assist him in battle, but he is not really happy with her following him into danger. Amelia tells him that she is going the same way and then confidently declares that she is strong enough to look after herself. Akira has no choice but to take her along now, and soon they enter the boss room where they find a terrifying dragon ready to kill any intruders. The dragon immediately breathes blue flames towards them, but they manage to dodge it. Akira hides his presence while Amelia presses the dragon down with her gravity magic, giving him the chance to attack. However, the dragon sees him coming despite his invisibility spell and hits him away. Amelia yells at Akira that the dragon is sensing him through his mana and asks him to blend it with the surrounding mana. Akira has not learned how to do that yet, so he decides to fight like he always has. He activates shadow magic and sends a single dark spike toward the dragon, scratching its face and forcing it to change trajectory. Using this chance, he stabs the dragon's eye with his sword. Bringing it down, Amelia is really impressed with his reckless fighting method. But as she is about to ask the details about his powers, the dragon's body starts glowing, astonishing both of them. The dragon transforms into a giant blue cat, and neither Akira nor Amelia can understand how that is possible. Amelia uses her World Eye skill and finds that the cat is a shapeshifter, which is how he transformed into a dragon. The IT all makes sense to her now because a real dragon would have been much more durable than the cat. Akira is impressed by how easily Amelia can use her World Eye, and she asks him why is he not using it himself. He remembers how his brain almost split apart the last time he tried using the skill, and he believes it was because his level is too low to use it properly. However, Amelia believes that Akira is rejecting the skill, which is the reason he is having trouble with it. Just then the black cat wakes up and starts talking. He is disappointed that he was defeated by a human and an elf even though he was transformed into a dragon just for fun. Akira is dumbfounded on hearing the monster cat talk, and he gets offended by his reaction that he tells him not to lump him with other low-level monsters that are driven purely by instinct because he is being a superior intellect created by the demon lord himself. Akira replies that it doesn't make any difference because after the last hit, the cat won't be able to fight back. The black cat doesn't care about dying, but he has a message for Akira before he dies that he stands up and begins radiating a menacing aura telling Akira that the demon lord waits for him in his castle situated deep within the demon continent of Volcano. That message makes Akira suspicious, and he asks how does the demon lord know about him, and why does he want him to come to his castle. The black cat replies that the demon lord is a being far beyond his understanding, so he can't tell him anything else. He then lies on the ground telling Akira to kill him, but he refuses. The cat tells him to stop pretending to be cool because humans consider all demons and monsters their enemies, so it makes sense for him to kill him already. Akira doesn't agree with him because for him the true enemy is a king, and he doesn't believe his words that demons are their enemies. However, Amelia reminds him that the door of the boss room is not going to open unless they kill the boss or the boss kills them. The black cat agrees with her, asking Akira if he is planning to starve to death here. He asks the reason why he doesn't want to kill him, and his answer is simple as well as astounding. He replies that he is a cat person, and unlike other monsters, the black cat can talk to him. He believes that there must be a loophole that allows him to leave the boss room without killing the cat, and Amelia recalls that there was another way to do so. She says that if Akira forms a pact with the black cat and accepts him as a familiar, he will stop being recognized as a boss monster and the door will open. The black cat laughs at the idea, saying that only an experienced magic user with great control over mana can do the ritual, and Akira doesn't have what it takes. Amelia disagrees with him and reveals that it has already surpassed the limit needed to do the ritual. She reminds the black cat that Akira detached his mana from his body to confuse him earlier, which is something that only the first hero has done before. Amelia is confident that Akira can perform the ritual, but she is not sure if he will succeed. He asks her what happens if he fails, and the black cat replies that one of them will die, and in the worst case both of them might lose their lives. Akira is willing to take that risk, and the black cat doesn't understand why he would do that. He tells him to go ahead because he doesn't care about dying, and Akira gets pissed at the way he acts so indifferent to living or dying. The black cat replies that living any longer won't bring him any joy, and Akira decides to talk sense into him later. He asks Amelia how to conduct the ritual, and she reveals that the first step is to give the cat a new name. Akira names him Night because of his beautiful fur that reminds him of the night sky. The cat doesn't react to the name, and then Akira moves on to the next step, which is pouring mana into its paw. Amelia warns him that there is no turning back after he starts pouring mana, and if he fails to control the cat, he might lose his life. Akira is confident that he will succeed, and as he starts pouring his mana into the cat's paw, he feels a powerful wave drowning him. He realizes that this is what's inside the cat, but then suddenly he finds himself falling towards a burning city. Akira is horrified when he sees the gruesome sight, and then he notices Night rampaging through the city, killing anyone who tries to escape. He tries to stop Night, but he attacks him with his dark mana, dealing serious damage to him. As Akira gets back on his feet, Night tells him to stop hesitating and kill him because that is the only way he can get out of this place alive. Akira still can't bring himself to attack the cat, so Night starts attacking again, hitting him with his powerful claws. The damage Akira takes in the dream world begins affecting his body in the real world as well, and he finally decides to fight back. He throws his dagger at Night, who easily deflects it and then begins charging his dark power to quickly finish the battle. Akira charges towards him, but instead of attacking, he lets himself get stabbed by Night's claws. The black cat is dumbfounded by his action and asks, what the hell is he trying to do? Akira replies that he doesn't want to kill him, and he knows that Night doesn't want to kill anyone either. Night replies that he is a monster, and even if he is intelligent, his instinct keeps telling him to kill anyone in his way. Akira knows that Night is sick of killing others, so he says that he doesn't need to fight against his instinct by himself anymore. He holds his claws, promising to watch over him and make sure that he doesn't have to do something like this ever again. Slowly, the dream world begins to vanish, and as Night begins trusting him, he turns into a normal-sized cat and finds comfort in Akira's arms. The sun rises in the dream world, turning into a reflection of the peace that Night is experiencing in Akira's arms. With that, Akira returns from the dream world, and as soon as he realizes that the pact ritual worked, he touches Night to confirm it. A golden mark appears on the back of his hand, and then the red mark on Night's forehead turns golden as well. Amelia explains that this is a mark of the pact being successful, and now Akira's soul has been linked with the cat. Knight wakes up too and remarks that now he is curious to see how far Akira will go that he accepts him as his master and swears his life in his service. Amelia introduces herself to him after that, and Knight replies that as his master's companion she has his respect too. Just then, a magic circle appears on the floor, signifying that the boss has been defeated, but Akira seems to be lost in thoughts. He says that he would like to move to the next floor already, but Knight is wounded. Knight replies that the door will remain open until they use it, so there is no need to hurry. He decides to take some time to recover, and Amelia suggests that they use this time to know each other better. Knight immediately agrees with her, and Akira is low-key surprised by how quickly he changed his personality. On the other hand, Sodto and his party reached a country founded by a hero who was summoned from Earth just like them. And they are a ruck when they see that the country looks exactly like historic Japan. Everything there feels familiar, and they start relaxing before discussing their future plan. Stu says that the first thing they need to worry about is their funds because they are 1 month away from being broke and homeless. One guy recommends becoming an adventurer because that is the best job for them, and Sodto agrees. He then moves on to the next topic, which is information gathering. He suggests they find someone who knows a lot about this world and also search books with valuable information. Another boy sighs, hoping there is a book that can tell how to go back to Earth. But Sad believes that defeating the Demon Lord is their best bet to do that. He thinks that only the king and the princess might know how to send them back. And even though they are twisted and evil, they need to win them over by defeating the Demon Lord. He declares that once they have enough funds and information, they will head straight towards the Demon Continent. But Asahi disagrees. He believes that they should regroup with Akira before heading to the Demon Continent because his intuition tells him that Akira is growing stronger much faster than everyone else, and they definitely need him in their team. Some members agree with Asahi, while others still think that he is the murderer Commander Seren. That a small argument starts between them on this topic, but the girls step up to mediate between them. They ask Sodto his opinion on the matter because as the leader he gets to make the final decision. Sodto agrees with Asahi and believes that Akira is already stronger than them, but he doubts that they would be able to work with him. He says that Akira doesn't like getting involved with other people, and he still doesn't remember him even though they have been classmates since kindergarten. Everyone is shocked to hear this, and even Asahi agrees that Akira is not exactly a team player. Sodto says that according to the legends, only the holy sword wielded by the hero can bring down the Demon Lord. So he needs to become strong enough to do his job. He believes that even if they find Akira, he won't agree to work with them if they are too weak, which is why he decides to wait for him in this country while all of them work hard to increase their strength. On the other hand, Amelia is telling Akira and Knight about her past. She was driven out of her country by her own sister, and her men were hell-bent on killing her. They cornered her near a cliff, and she used her gravity magic to fall into the river below that swept her away to safety. However, she was wounded and tired, and a black slime took advantage of her weakness to swallow her whole. The next thing she knew was that she was in the dungeon and Akira had just rescued her. Akira pies her on hearing the story, but Knight finds some loopholes. He remarks that slimes don't eat people, and even if one had eaten Amelia, she would have been digested by the time she was rescued. She doesn't understand it either, but she is grateful to the slime that brought her to Akira. Akira tells her that she should go back and try to sort things out with her sister. But Amelia has already given up. She feels that she can't confront her sister, but Akira says that things will work out somehow because they are family. He says that he has a sister too. And even though she is cheeky all the time, he still cares a lot about her. Amelia and Knight ask if he wants to return to his world to meet his family, and Akira affirms. But before that, he has something else to do. He begins talking about Seren, the man who taught him how to live in this world, and gets furious thinking about the people who killed him. He swears to kill the king and the princess for assassinating Seren, and his killing instinct makes Amelia and Knight shudder in fear. Amelia screams his name, snapping him out of his murderous fury. Once he has calmed down, both Amelia and Knight tell him that they know Seren's name as he was a famous knight commander. Akira realizes that the mood is too tense, so he whips out his glove and, driven by his cat instincts, Knight tries to catch it. Akira is glad to see the trick that worked on all the strays around his house works on the monster cat, too, and Amelia wants to try it as well. Soon after that, Akira and Amelia start cuddling with Knight to enjoy the soft and fuzzy texture of his fur. Knight tells Akira to take it more seriously because their souls are linked, and if one of them dies, the other one will also die. Akira knows it already, but he is just glad that he got a cat familiar because he really likes cats. Amelia replies that she is jealous of him because she also likes cats. Once they are done fooling around, they decide to leave the dungeon. Akira asks Knight where the teleportation magic circle will lead them, but the cat has no idea about it. He says that only a handful of demons still know the art of making magic circles, and Akira decides to find them and make them work for him once he reaches the demon continent. Suddenly, Amelia remembers a story about the pale blue magic circles leading people to the place they desire. And if multiple people enter it, it reacts only to the wishes of one person. Akira says that it might create a problem for them, but Amelia assures him that she will go anywhere as long as it is with him. Akira doesn't think much about her statement as he steps into the magic circle. He wonders if it can take him back to his family, but pushes that thought out of the way because his vengeance comes first. With that, the magic circle activates and the group is teleported to a forest from where they can see a gigantic tree. Amelia goes into shock on seeing the tree that Knight recognizes as the World Tree. He says that they are in the Forest of Elves. And even though Amelia can't believe they ended up here, Akira thinks it is a good place to be. Suddenly, an elf hiding in the tree shoots an arrow at Amelia. But luckily, Akira notices it in time and moves her away from the arrow's path. He then charges toward the archer, deflecting his arrow with his dagger, and then quickly reaching behind him. He brings the archer to the ground, and Amelia identifies him as Liam. Liam says that he didn't expect to find the traitor when he came to investigate the light at this location, and tells Amelia to run away as she values her life. Akira knocks him out because he is not interested in his yapping, but he realizes that he was too slow as the elves have already surrounded them. Amelia's sister Kilika is there to lead them personally, and she tells Amelia that she is going to die now that she has returned to the country willingly. Amelia remembers the past when everything was perfect. She was the crown princess of the kingdom of elves, and along with her fiancé Liam, she watched over her little sister Kilika, who was a pride and joy. However, that perfect life did not last long for Amelia, as Liam suddenly told her that he wanted to cancel their engagement. Amelia was saddened by this, but she told him to talk to her dad about this because he was the one who set up their marriage. Just then, Kilika arrived there and told Amelia that Liam didn't want to marry her because she was a child of blight. That was just the beginning of Amelia's misfortunes, and shortly after this incident, Kilika led the soldiers to hunt her down. Everyone called Amelia a criminal and tried hunting her down, but she somehow survived that and met with Akira. Now, she feels nervous standing in front of her little sister. She pleads with Kilika to not attack her and promises that she will leave the country immediately. However, Kilika has no intentions of letting her go this time. She keeps on cursing the nervous Amelia till steps up and tells her to shut her stupid mouth. Kilika asks him who the hell is he and why is he helping a criminal? And Akira replies that he is just a friendly neighborhood assassin who befriended her sister a few days ago. He asks Kilika what exactly has Amelia done to be treated like a criminal, and she removes her arm cover to reveal the damage caused to her by poison. Akira is shocked to see this, and Kilika tells him that Amelia gave her a poison disguised as a healing potion, and this is her crime. Everyone starts cursing Amelia for being cruel, and she mutters that she really gave her a healing potion. Kilika asks if she is accusing her of harming herself just to frame her, and Amelia falls silent. Kilika then walks over to Akira, thanking him for bringing a wanted criminal back to their country, and just as he gets close enough to him, she uses her special ability to mesmerize him. Amelia is too late to alert Akira about that as Kilika's spell is already complete. She is confident that now Akira has also fallen for her and Amelia is left without anyone to save her. Amelia suddenly snaps at Kilika, telling her to undo her skill on Akira and apologize to him because only he has a right to decide what he wants to do. Kilika is taken aback at this because she has never seen Amelia fight back. But then suddenly Akira tells both the girls to chill out. He says that the mesmerized skill didn't affect him, and Amelia is delighted while Kilika is in shock. Knight says that mind control spells don't work on people who are at a much higher level than the caster, and this is true for Kilika and Akira. The elven princess refuses to believe that there can be anyone stronger than her. Akira says that he will accept that he is weaker than her after she admits that she poisoned herself to frame Amelia. Kilika gets pissed at this and commands the soldiers to kill Akira, who is ready to use his shadow magic to take them all down. Luckily, the king arrives there just then and commands all the soldiers to put their weapons down. Kilika is shocked to see him because he was supposed to be on a long business trip. The elf king asks, "So what the hell is going on here?" And a soldier tells him that Amelia poisoned Kilika. However, the king shuts him up and asks his daughter to answer the question instead. Kilika falls silent as the soldiers under control say that she did nothing wrong. The king immediately realizes that Kilika has mesmerized them, and he orders her to undo the spell immediately. She refuses to say anything, so the king tells her daddy is going to punish her later for being a bad girl. He then moves over to Akira, apologizing to him for Kilika's actions. He then tells Akira to immediately get lost because other races are not allowed in the kingdom of elves. Amelia tells the king that Akira rescued her from danger and helped her come home, but he does not care about that. Amelia gets mad at him and says that she will head out with Akira in that case because she doesn't want to be in his narrow-minded country. The king gets furious on hearing this and tells Amelia to stop thinking that she is free to do anything she likes. He tells her that she is a future ruler of their kingdom, and she is going to stay here to look after it. Amelia is intimidated, but Akira tells her dad that no one else has the right to make life choices for her, and he is willing to fight anyone who tries to take her rights away. Just then, Liam comes back to his senses, and on learning that Akira knocked out one of their finest warriors, he decides to give him a chance. He challenges Akira for a duel with Amelia's rights on the stake and nominates Kilika to be his representative. Akira accepts the challenge and follows the king to the World Tree where the duel will be held. Amelia apologizes for dragging him into this mess, but he replies that he chose to do it himself. He then asks her about the whole child of blight business, and Amelia explains that when one child out of a pair of twins doesn't resemble their parents, it is called a child of blight who will bring great misfortune to their country. Akira is surprised that Amelia and Kilika are twins. But Knight is more curious about the child of blight story, which was proven to be just a myth many years ago. Amelia confirms that, but she knows that many people still use that term for her because she doesn't look like her parents at all. Soon they reach the World Tree, and Akira decides not to conceal his presence because he wants to score a fair victory. Amelia tells him to be careful because Kilika is the most skillful elven swordsman. Akira remarks that she seems to hold her cunning sister in high regard despite everything she has done, and Amelia replies that she has seen the effort she put in her training. As the duel starts, Akira doesn't even unsheath his sword, and when Kilika tells him to take his sword out, he tells her that he doesn't want to accidentally kill her. Kilika thinks that she is going to win easily and regain her father's trust, but Akira doesn't even pay her any attention. Instead, he thanks Amelia for getting angry on his behalf earlier, and she starts blushing. With that, the king signals the start of the duel, and Kilika charges at Akira instantly. She begins swinging her sword at him precisely, but he is faster than her and easily dodges her attacks, though he sees that she is really quite strong and fast for an elf, but she still can't match up to his skills. He slips past her and pushes her away, but Kilika has an ace up her sleeve. She enchants her sword with wind magic and sends a powerful gust towards Akira, pushing him back. He somehow dodges it, but Kilika keeps pushing him back, though he soon finds a chance to counterattack and kicks Kilika off her feet. And by the time she gets up, he is already behind her. Akira tells her to give up now and asks her to make up with Amelia because she still cares for her. Kilika refuses, declaring that she will never forgive her sister who took everything from her. She immediately launches another powerful attack, pushing Akira back, but he deflects a wind spell to the side, hitting the elf soldiers instead. Akira orders Knight to protect Amelia from the reckless attacks, and he transforms into his bigger version to block out the wind attacks. Meanwhile, Kilika yells that she has nothing left because her sister took it all away from her. She remembers their childhood when they were really close to each other. But once it was discovered that Amelia was a spirit medium who could bend the world to her will if her power awakened, everyone started treating her differently. They stopped paying attention to Kilika, and that made her snap. Now she wants to take everything back from Amelia, who is really worried about her. Just then Liam arrives there with a wrapped item, asking Amelia to save Kilika with it. The wrapped item turns out to be a branch of the holy tree, and using its power, Amelia frees everyone from Kilika's brainwashing. Seeing that she has no one under her control now, Kilika loses her mind, and she uses her full power to attack Akira, who realizes that if he dodges, Amelia will get hit, though he uses shadow magic to counter Kilika's wind attack, but then realizes that he is much stronger and his attack will devour Kilika whole at this rate. In the heat of the moment, he decides to pull the shadow magic towards himself instead. As the shadows surround him, Akira fears he will take damage, but to his surprise, his body gets covered by a dark aura instead, that he doesn't understand what is happening, but charges ahead, nevertheless clashing with Kilika and knocking her out of the fight. Kilika is devastated that she has lost everything now, but Akira tells her to stop crying all the time because she is blind to the people who truly pay her attention. Just then Amelia and Liam arrive there, and Kilika says that she must have underestimated Liam if her mesmerized skill wore off on him first. She says that he went straight to Amelia as soon as he was free, but Amelia tries explaining that he was never under her spell in the first place. Kilika refuses to believe her and asks how they are going to punish her for her crimes. However, her father says that if anyone deserved to be punished, it is him. Kilika doesn't understand what he means. So, her dad dispelled the forgetting spell he had cast on her. Kilika regains her lost memories starting from childhood. She used to train hard to become stronger and decided to enter to level up. However, her father only had allowed her to go till the 3rd floor, and she was not confident if it could be good enough. One day, a shady woman offered her help to grow stronger quickly. She gave her a magic item that could summon stronger monsters that would help her level up quickly, and the innocent Kilika took it without thinking much. However, once she used a magic item, powerful orcs spawned in front of her, and she couldn't win against them despite her best efforts. She decided to run away instead. But when the orcs followed her out of the dungeon, she grew worried that her people would be in danger at this rate. So she decided to confront the orcs with all her might. Just as she was about to lose, Liam rushed to help her with the soldiers. But suddenly, a shrewd goblin jumped out of the bushes and pierced Liam's chest with its arm. As a shady woman laughed that her plan was successful, Kilika was devastated, and the king had to use his magic to make her forget it all. Luckily, Amelia was able to save the day by creating a magic to revive Liam and other dead soldiers. After that day, everyone tried to keep their distance from Kilika so that they wouldn't accidentally reveal the truth to her. And she thought that they didn't care about her because Amelia was a spirit medium. The king says that he wanted Kilika to win the duel against Akira and prove her worth as a royal, which would give her enough confidence to deal with the shock she would receive when he would return her memories. However, she couldn't win the fight, and he had to return her memories in a completely different manner. Liam suddenly kneels down in front of Kika, saying that he didn't want her to harm Amelia, so he pretended that he was under a mesmerized spell and helped her exile Amelia. Kilika can't believe how that happened, and the king reveals that a leaf of the world tree entered Liam's body when he was being revived, so he is pretty much immune to all negative effects. Liam apologizes for not dealing with things in a way that would stop anyone from getting hurt, and Kilika realizes that she was in the wrong all along. She blamed everything on Amelia even though she was the cause of trouble for everyone around her. She starts crying and curses herself, but Amelia tells her not to do that because she is amazing. The two sisters have an emotional reunion, and then the soldiers rush to check up on Kilika and treat her wounds. She is shocked to see that everyone cares about her even when they are not under her control. Later that night, the king throws a welcome party for Akira since he won the duel, and he agrees to let Amelia decide her future. She decides to go wherever Akira wants to go, and he reveals that he will go to the Beastmen continent next because Knight told him it is the best place to continue his journey. After the party ends, Amelia calls Akira to a quiet place and asks him to say her name. He obliges, and she feels happy on him calling her name. She promises that she will never be apart from him, and Knight cringes out on seeing them act like kids. At the same time, Akira's classmates are on a ship. Sad apologizes to Asahi that they couldn't wait for Akira any longer. But he understands it because they would not have been able to become stronger there. That is why they are heading to the Beastmen continent to hone their skills and get better weapons. Soon after that, it is time for Akira and Amelia to leave the Elf Kingdom, and everyone gathers to see them off. Amelia and Kilika have patched up their relationship, and Liam and Akira also tell each other to take care of their girls. The king then tells Akira that some soldiers will be accompanying him till their country's border because there have been a lot of kidnappings in that region lately. Amelia clings to Akira, saying that he is strong enough to protect her, but the king is not entirely convinced as he is really worried about his daughter. Kilika says that she will go to protect Amelia instead of the king, and Liam wants to join her. The rest of the soldiers also want to tag along, but Akira doesn't want any burden, so he refuses all of them. Soon, Akira and Amelia ride the carriage to the border while the soldiers keep watching around them. Akira asks Knight why was he acting so silent in front of the King of Elves, and he replies that most people don't like monsters, and he was staying silent so as not to cause trouble for Akira. Akira then asks him if acting too docile won't get him in trouble with the Demon King, and Knight affirms. He says that his senses are still linked to the Demon King, so he can see and hear everything. However, the Demon King doesn't control Knight's behavior and loyalty, and he declares that he is not going to betray Akira. Akira asks what will he do in case he has to fight with a Demon Lord, and Knight decides to not think about it right now. That he says that the Demon Lord just wanted to see Akira, and Amelia suggests that he might actually want to become his friend. Knight supports the suggestion, saying that Akira was really cool yesterday, and that must have gotten the Demon Lord's interest. He says that no one else can even use shadow magic, but Akira coded himself in it. Akira says that it is not as impressive as they think when suddenly his danger detection ability goes off. He orders the soldiers to stop the carriage and gets out to find that the kidnappers are waiting for them with a hostage. They threaten to kill the girl if Akira and his group make any moves, and then hand them a rope to tie each other. One of the bandits recognizes Amelia, and he starts thinking about how happy their boss will be when they take the elf princess to him as an offering. While the bandits are distracted by this, Akira uses his skill to conceal his presence and then knocks out the bandits before they can even blink. Wei returns to normal. The bandits are on the ground, and Akira tells the soldiers to tie them up. In the meantime, Amelia frees a hostage, and then Akira interrogates the bandits, asking about their boss, whom they called Graham earlier. One soldier tells him that Graham is a royal in Uruk, the biggest nation of beast folk. Akira tells the soldiers to take the bandits back to the capital because he can continue the journey on his own from this point. The soldiers tell him they have got orders to escort him to the port, but Akira manages to convince them to go back. Soon they reach the port and board a ship. Akira tells his friends that as soon as they reach the Beastfolk continent, he will get some good weapons and level up further. Amelia is surprised to hear that he still wants to grow stronger, and Akira replies that he won't leave any stones unturned to avenge Commander Saren. Knight tells him that the port town in the Beastfolk continent has a dungeon, and he can level up there. However, reaching there will take them at least a few days, and in the meantime they should just relax and enjoy the trip. As the ship sets out on its journey, Amelia gets excited to recreate scenes from Titanic. She talks about how she wants to do the Titanic pose with him, but he is a Sigma male who doesn't pay any attention to her. Instead, he decides to read a book that the king gave him as a farewell gift. Amelia curses her father for giving Akira that is distracting him from her, but he doesn't care about her opinion. He keeps reading the books throughout their journey, and soon they reach the Beastfolk continent. Their first stop is a port town and Akira finds that only humans are doing the labor work here, though he doesn't think too much about it and goes on his way. But then 3 small-time thugs corner him. They tell him to leave the elf girl and run away, and their attitude makes Akira realize that the beastmen discriminate against humans. He moves towards the beastmen who underestimate him and rush ahead to give him a good whooping, but Akira uses his shadow magic to throw blobs of darkness at their eyes, stealing their vision. He then walks to the city where everyone seems scared of Knight. Amelia asks Knight if he knows anything about this, and he replies that people on this continent have a very good reason to be terrified of black cats. Soon after that, Akira and Amelia book a hotel room and enjoy a hearty meal. Akira decides to go to sleep, and Amelia tells him that their beds are a bit too big. She says that just one bed should be enough for both of them, and Akira is taken aback because he wasn't expecting her to be this direct. Knight decides to play the role of the wingman for Amelia, and he tells Akira that he is going out on a midnight stroll, so they should do whatever they want. Akira is left puzzled now, and Amelia happily hops into the shower for him. However, when she comes out of the shower, Akira has already fallen asleep, and she doesn't want to wake him up. She gently kisses him on the cheek and sleeps beside him. But turns out Akira was just pretending to be asleep because he didn't want to do anything with the dispo the next morning. Knight returns just in time as Akira wakes up. Amelia also wakes up in a few seconds, and then Knight tells both of them to get dressed because a guest is coming over soon. The guest is a Goth beastfolk blacksmith named Crow, whom Knight called in to help Akira. Crow coldly replies that he couldn't refuse a summon from the Nightmare of Alderia, and Amelia is curious about what it means. Akira, on the other hand, already has an idea what Crow is talking about, so he doesn't go into the details. He introduces himself, and the blacksmith immediately asks to see his weapon. Akira shows him the sword that is chipped at a lot of points, and Crow can immediately tell which dungeon he used it in based on the damage patterns. Akira is impressed and asks if he can repair it, and the Goth Beastman replies that he will do it for the right amount of money and raw materials. Akira accepts the conditions, and then asks him to prepare 20 throwing weapons as well. Crow realizes that Akira is an assassin, but he feels that he is not mentally ready to handle his weapons without damaging them. Amelia gets mad on hearing this, but Akira tells her to chill because Crow is right. Knight agrees, saying that Crow might be a blacksmith now, but once upon a time, he was a member of the hero's party. Akira and Amelia are surprised by this, but Crow doesn't want to dwell on the past, so he hands Akira the list of the raw materials needed along with the cost of repairs. He goes away with that, and Knight tells Akira that Crow might have an arrogant attitude, but he is the most skilled blacksmith on the entire continent. Akira believes him, but he wonders how can he gather the required amount of money quickly. Knight tells him to hit the dungeon and hunt some monsters for that, and he can also gain some raw materials in the process. In the meantime, Amelia has been acting impatient, and she suddenly tells Akira that she is going to talk to Crow about something. He tells Knight to go with Amelia while he gathers some information to in the meantime. Amelia follows Crow to his workshop, and he coldly asks her what does she want. Amelia says that the previous hero's party failed to defeat the Demon Lord, and only the hero and the beast folk return. Crow thinks she wants to ask about the elf who was a member of their party as well, but Amelia is not interested in that. Instead, she wants to learn how to fight from Crow because obviously he was strong enough to escape from the Demon Lord's castle. Crow immediately shoots down her request, telling her that he is no longer going to take any disciples. Amelia is surprised to hear this and asks if he had a disciple in the past, and Crow tells her that he had many but no one could endure his training, and they either broke or ran away. Amelia promises that she won't run away or break down. She wants to stay with Akira, but he is far stronger than her, and that is why she wants to train hard and reach his level. Crow still refuses her request and then turns to Knight saying that he only accepted the request to repair his master's weapons and nothing more. Knight agrees to that and tells him that Amelia is not his master so he can deny her requests. However, he is not happy that Crow addresses him as a nightmare of Adora every time. Crow says that he deserved to be called only that, and Amelia can't contain her curiosity now. She asks Knight what are they talking about, and he tells her that 100 years ago Adora was the most prosperous city on the Beastfolk continent. The Demon Lord commanded him to attack it in retaliation for the Beastfolk invading his territory. His goal was only to cause some damage and scare those in the power. But his monstrous instincts overpowered him, and he went berserk, thoroughly destroying the city. That day, he earned the nickname Nightmare of Adora, and Black Cat became a symbol of fear throughout the continent. Akira hears the entire story because of his telepathic link, and he feels bad for Knight. Now, on the other hand, Knight tells Amelia that because of that incident, he was so shaken mentally that he felt there was no point in living any longer. However, after meeting Akira, he has moved on from his shameful past and now he wants to live for the sake of his new master. Crow scoffs on hearing that, but he tells Knight that he has no grudges against him. He continues the story that Knight was reciting and tells Amelia that soon after the incident, he went to a memorial to pay respect to the victims of Knight's attacks. Surprisingly, Knight was there, too, and they both recognized each other. That time, Knight told Claude to strike him down if he wanted revenge, but the Beastman was not interested. He thought that Knight was nothing more than a tool for the Demon Lord, and it would be pointless to get revenge on him. However, he didn't want revenge on the Demon Lord either because his real enemy was someone else. He told Knight that his sister lived in the city, but she did not die from his attack. She was among the survivors and was helping to rescue the injured people when the royal named Graham came there. He was in a hurry to leave the town because he feared Knight would return, and he was ready to blow through the fallen buildings to clear a path. Not caring about the people stuck there, Crow's sister tried to stop him, but he kicked her away and then proceeded to blow up everything in his way, killing everyone in the area. Crow was enraged and wanted revenge against Graham, but he stopped himself because he thought his kind sister wouldn't want it. Amelia calls him a coward after hearing his story because she feels he is using his sister as an excuse to run away from conflict. He gets mad at that, but she reveals that she used to be the same. But then Akira gave her the confidence to confront her problems head-on. Crow can't hear any more of her virtue signaling, and she tells her to get lost. On the other hand, Akira goes to the dungeon and finds that the entry is restricted according to adventure rank, as he thinks of concealing his presence to sneak in. A monster outbreak takes place. Huge tendrils of energy break through the dungeon building, and powerful monsters come out of the holes. The energy tendrils burn everyone in their way, and Amelia, who is just returning from Crow's place, uses her gravity magic to suppress them. She tells Knight to help the people, and he rushes to rescue as many people as he can. While Amelia is keeping the energy under control, a hooded boy comes there riding on a monster and says that her magic brings back some nice memories. Amelia recognizes him as the bastard who tricked Kilika into unleashing a group of orcs leading to the incident. The boy introduces himself as Aurum and tells Amelia that the Demon Lord has ordered him not to kill her because she has a unique magic. However, he is allowed to harm her just enough to keep her alive while he plays a weird flute and send the energy tendril to surround her. And Amelia notices there are monsters waiting inside it. She is completely trapped now and realizes that there is no way to dodge Aurum's attack. On the other hand, Akira is busy fighting off monsters when Knight contacts him, telling him that Amelia has been kidnapped by a demon who took her into the dungeon. Akira immediately rushes to the dungeon, but there are too many monsters in the way and the blue energy is blocking his way, too. He picks up a sword from a dead guy's hand and begins hunting the monsters. But that method is not fast enough. Just then, Knight comes there and apologizes because he wasn't able to protect Amelia, but Akira tells him it doesn't matter now. He tells him to get back because he is going to deal with everything at once. Knight immediately flies away, and then Akira unleashes his shadow magic to devour all the monsters and the blue energy at once. He feels overtaken by his rage and thinks that Amelia has become so important for him, that he is feeling such intense emotions that he swears that he will save her at all costs. But as he finishes devouring everything with his shadow magic, he falls unconscious after using too much energy. Knight was watching all this from the sky, and as soon as Akira collapses, he rushes to his side. He wonders how to help him when suddenly he hears the voice of the system serving Akira. The voice says that Akira has used more mana than his body can handle, though healing shadow magic will be activated automatically to treat him. The shadows quickly cover Akira, and then his body starts glowing as the shadow magic uses stored mana to fix his body. Knight can only watch this in awe and surprise, unable to understand what just happened. After a day has passed, Akira wakes up with a jolt and asks Knight where is he right now. Knight reveals that he brought him to Crow's house after he passed out and seeing the setting sun. Akira asks if he was unconscious for 5 hours. Knight tells him that he was out cold for 1 day and 5 hours, which is understandable because he used too much mana at once, that he tells Akira that luckily his shadow magic activated on its own and healed him because he would have died otherwise. He asks exactly what the shadow magic is, and Akira replies that he has no idea. He says it is not important right now because they have something bigger to worry about. He immediately goes downstairs where Crow is waiting for him. Akira thanks him for lending him the bed and asks to put it on the bill as well. Crow asks him where is he going, and Akira replies he needs to rescue Amelia as soon as possible. The goth blacksmith tells him that it has been over a day and Amelia might have already been taken to the demon continent. Akira declares that he will barge into the demon lord's castle then, but Crow asks him to calm down. Akira yells that he is calm but just in a hurry, and Crow asks how can he claim to be calm if he is forgetting his weapons behind. Akira snaps at him and says he doesn't have any weapons right now because they are undergoing repair. But Crow tells him to look at the table. He has snapped Akira's sword into 2 short daggers because they are better for an assassin. He also covered the raw materials and costs for repairing them because it is an emergency, but asks Akira to pay him back as soon as he can. Akira checks out the daggers and thanks Crow, who has another gift for him. He tosses a ring to him, claiming that either the second or the third hero forged it. The ring has some words inscribed on it that read, "I will lead you everywhere." Crow is surprised that Akira can read it, and he replies that it is a language of his world. He asks what the ring does, and Crow tells him that it helps its wearer find what they seek. As soon as Akira hears this, he wears a ring and activates its powers. The ring emits a laser pointer that points towards a dungeon, and Crow tells Akira that he is lucky that the demons haven't taken Amelia to the demon realm. Akira immediately equips his gear and rushes to the dungeon, riding on Knight's back, who asks him not to be reckless like the last day again. Akira agrees, saying that he shouldn't have risked his life so impatiently because that meant Knight could have died along with him. Knight tells him that he isn't worried about himself, and he just doesn't want Akira to be hurt. Meanwhile, Amelia is in the dungeon, tired and injured. The demon named Aurum talks to her cheerfully, saying that things are going really well right now. He reveals that demons have a spell to control monsters, but he was curious about how they affected humans and other species. He sent the flying centipede towards Amelia, saying that thanks to her, he found that his special spell can't control elves, but it can make them immobile. Amelia gathers her strength to ask him why is he keeping her in the dungeon. Or replies that only 2nd-grade demons or higher can use teleportation magic. But unfortunately, he is just a 3rd-grade demon who can't do that. That is why he is waiting for his boss to come here and take them to the demon continent using his teleportation spell. He doesn't know when his boss will come, but he is not in a hurry either because he is enjoying talking with Amelia. He tells her to ask anything she wants to know and he will answer honestly. He is confident that even if Akira shows up before his boss and Amelia tells him everything, he won't be able to beat him. However, he assures her that she won't be harmed in the process because he needs to take her to the Demon Lord in the best condition. At the same time, Akira is searching for Amelia and the ring keeps pointing towards a dungeon. He decides to hurry when a hooded wizard comes out asking him to grant her request. Akira remembers her as a stalker who was following them, and the moment the furry wizard asks him to take her along to rescue Amelia, he grabs her by the collar. He tells the girl to reveal how she knows about Amelia, and if he finds her dangerous, he will kill her on the spot. The girl tells him about her skill scent tracker and how she used it to follow Amelia until she vanished into the dungeon. She also used the skill to find that Akira was heading towards a dungeon, and now she wants to help him. Knight can verify that the girl is not lying. So Akira drops her down and then asks her why she wants to come with him. The girl first introduces herself as Leah, the first princess of the beast folk nation of Uruk. She got information that the demon lord was targeting Amelia, so she came here to inform her and Akira about it. However, she thought that Akira wouldn't believe a stranger without any proof, so she decided to just stalk him until the demons attacked yesterday. Akira still doesn't trust her fully, so he uses his world eye skill on her and finds that she is speaking the truth. He then asks her what her spirit barrier skill does, and Leah freaks out. She asks how he knows about her skills, but Akira tells her to just answer his question. She tells him that normal barriers can be applied to fixed spaces, but her spirit barrier can be applied to moving targets as well. Akira asks her if she can apply it on people, too, and Leah affirms. She tells Akira that her ability will be really helpful to him. She then reveals that the demon lord is after Amelia's resurrection magic, and they can't let him have it. Akira is startled by this and immediately gets on Knight's back, telling Leah to hop on. Knight asks if he is sure that they can trust the girl, and Akira replies that they need her power to rescue Amelia, and they have no other choice right now. On the other hand, Amelia learns about the demon lord's plan as well, and she is quite surprised by it. She asks Orem why would the demon lord want her resurrection magic when demons practically alive forever, and they are super tough to kill. Orem agrees with her because he doesn't see much point in the resurrection magic, though he claims it can't be used if the target has been dead for a long period of time, and it has a long cooldown on top of that. Amelia asks how does he know so much about it, and Orem tells her that he just knows it. He tells her that when Akira dies at his hands soon, she won't be able to save him with her resurrection spell because she just used it on herself. He excitedly talks about how much Amelia will cry when she sees Akira die and hopes that it is more than Kilika's tears when Liam died because of her. On the other hand, Akira is still on his way to the dungeon. He feels that he has seen Leah before when he was freshly summoned and asks her to tell him what she was doing there. Leah starts a backstory from the start, telling him that she used to be an ordinary village girl, but one day a black slime appeared there and swallowed her family and her village. She is sure that someone had modified that slime with forbidden magic and released it in her village, and now she is on the mission to find them. Akira realizes that the slime that swallowed Amelia must have been the same. When Leah reveals that she was the only survivor of her village, the royal family adopted her because of her rare skills, and she became a princess. She used her authority to study about the incident and found that it had links to the country that had summoned Akira and others. She says that a lot of humans and beastmen had gone missing in recent years, and they were used as a sacrifice for the summoning ritual. Leah is sure that her missing family was among the sacrifices as well, and that is why she wanted to take a close look at the hero that was summoned by offering their lives. Akira tells her that he is also one of the guys summoned from the other world, but Leah has no grudges against him. She only hates the king and the princess who were behind it, and Akira reveals that he has some deep grudges against them as well. He refuses to believe that the king summoned them to fight against the demon lord's invasion, and Knight tells him that he is right. He says that demons have not tried to invade any other country in the past century, and everyone just stereotypes them as an evil race that only wants violence. Just then they reach the entrance of the dungeon, and once they reach inside, Knight tells Akira that they need to take down a certain number of monsters to clear each floor. This was a rule set in place by the first demon lord who created all the dungeons, and there is no way to bypass it. Akira says that doing it normally will take a lot of time, so he will use shadow magic to make it quick. Knight tells him that he will get exhausted before they even reach the demon at this rate, but Akira replies that they don't have another option. Knight says that he has another way to deal with the situation. He plans to take care of the smaller monsters while Akira saves his energy for the big fight. However, he is not sure if he can stay in control once he gets used to combat. He fears that he might hurt his master if he goes berserk, but Akira assures him that he will make sure that won't happen. He asks Knight to help him, and he immediately transforms into his three-headed form, wiping out the hordes of monsters with his fire breath while rushing through the dungeon corridors. He starts losing control and crashing against the walls. Akira tells him to control himself, and his voice reaches Knight, who feels like he is swimming in a vast ocean, though he feels better after hearing Akira's voice, and asks him to keep calling his name because it will help him stay in control. Akira thinks that is a bit soothes, but he obliges and keeps talking to Knight so that he can stay in control himself. As they rush down the dungeon, Akira asks Knight to tell him more about why other species hate the demons. Knight reveals that it is because of the first demon lord. He was a bit salty because other races pushed him to the barren continent and attacked their countries that made him the symbol of ultimate evil, and people began believing that only the hero could stop someone as dangerous as him. Knight keeps wiping down the horde of monsters in front of him while telling Akira that most demon lords haven't tried to attack humans. But a couple generations ago, some fool who wanted to make a name for himself killed the wife of the demon lord. The demon lord was a pretty chill guy who loved his family, but when he lost his wife, he became a menace. Akira pies the poor guy, but thinks that if he really ordered his men to kidnap Amelia, he will make him pay for it. Knight has no problem with that, but he tells Akira to keep it in mind that not all demons are the same. Some are downright cruel and want to crush all other races, but others want to achieve peace with all species living on the planet. Akira tells him that he will remember that, and soon after that, they reach the room where Amelia is being held. Akira immediately tells the demon that he will take Amelia back, and commands Leah to cast a barrier on her. Meanwhile, Knight turns back to his base form, and Aurum says that he is impressed by the demon lord's right hand who brought the assassin here so quickly. Knight doesn't pay him any attention, and apologizes to Akira because he won't be able to help him for some time now. Even Amelia apologizes to him for dragging him into this mess, and Akira tells them both to chill out. He tells Amelia that he won't let anyone have her, and draws his daggers. Aurum also summons his weapons, telling Akira that he will lose this battle in his life. Knight reminds him that the demon lord has ordered them to bring Akira to him, but Aurum replies that his only orders were to bring Amelia back alive. He was told to kill Akira if he tries to stop him, and Knight can't believe that the demon lord would change his mind like this. While they are busy talking, Akira suddenly sneaks behind Aurum and attacks him. The demon easily blocks his blow and then counterattacks by extending his spear and slashing his leg. Akira keeps attacking him ruthlessly, but none of his attacks get past Aurum's defense, who is treating the fight as a joke. He manages to injure Akira over and over again, but then decides to end the fight quickly because it is less fun than he thought. Akira says that he will be the one to end the fight and activates his shadow magic. The shadows go to the places where his blood was shed, and Akira uses a special skill to summon shadow beasts using his blood. Everyone is taken aback on seeing this, and Aurum finds it hard to deal with the shadow beast attacking him from all sides. While he is busy handling the shadow wolves, Akira rushes towards him and slashes his arm and leg, causing him to drop his weapon. However, Akira is also really exhausted now, and Aurum has more tricks up his sleeve. He plays his creepy flute, calling the monsters under his command to fight for him. Akira panics on seeing this because his shadow magic is still in cooldown, and he doesn't know how to defend himself. The monsters charge their ultimate beam to destroy him in one go, but Leah uses all her power to create a big barrier around Akira before she collapses. The barrier first absorbs the attacks of the monsters, and just as they try to switch to melee, it reflects their attacks at them, blowing out their heads clean. Immediately after that, Amelia walks over to Akira, telling him that she can move now because Aurum has been weakened. She hides behind him, and Aurum says that he is disappointed in himself. Akira points his dagger at him, but hesitates in dealing the finishing blow. Or tells him to hurry, teasing him about being an assassin who can't even kill his defenseless target. While Akira wonders how can he kill someone who looks like a human, Aurum's boss teleports, so that he is not happy to see that Aurum lost. But now Akira and his friends are terrified because they know they can't beat a second-grade demon. Knight tells Akira not to fight the demon head-on, and he agrees, saying that he is not going to make any reckless moves. Meanwhile, the nerd demon traps Aurum in a magic ball and throws him aside, saying that he should rest because he can't fight now. That he then moves ahead to face Akira, and uses a spell that shatters a barrier around him instantly. Leah can't believe that a barrier was breached so easily, but Akira tells her to stay on the ground because it is dangerous. The demon tells him to relax because he is not after Leah. Instead, he attacks Amelia with his weird power and knocks her out. Akira freaks out on seeing this, but the demon tells him that he just put her to sleep so that she is easy to carry to the demon lord's castle. Akira is furious and gives the demon a death stare, but in return, the demon taunts him to attack if he days. However, Despite his anger, Akira knows that he will get himself and everyone killed if he challenges the demon, that he wants to get Amelia out of the danger zone first. But the demon is prepared as well. He immediately casts barrier magic at all the doors because he knows Akira plans to run away. Knight asks Akira what does he plan to do now, and he replies that he can't fight at full strength right now because he just used his shadow magic, that he wonders if there's any way to get out of this sticky situation when the nerdy demon asks him if his name is written as it is pronounced. Akira realizes that only a Japanese guy can ask that question, and the demon immediately confirms his doubts. He reveals that he was also summoned to this world from Earth even though it was in a different manner than Akira. The nerd introduces himself as Mihiro, and Akira doesn't understand how a human can be on the side of the demons. Mahiro doesn't bother giving him the answers, and he declares that he will kill Akira and take Amelia with him. He shoots a bolt of dark energy towards Akira, who dodges it but doesn't see the energy bolt changing direction and hitting him from behind. Back against the corner, Akira gets desperate and charges towards Moreau, who keeps pushing him back with his abilities. He then shoots some fatal attacks at Akira, who activates his shadow magic to cover the exact parts of his body that Mahiro targeted. Mahiro realizes that Akira can't use his ultimate move properly because he doesn't have enough mana that he wants to fight him at full strength, but decides to prioritize his job over his desires to fight. However, before he can attack, Knight gets up and tells Akira that he has replenished some of his mana because of the break. Mahiro asks him if he has really changed sides, and Knight affirms, declaring that he does not plan to return to the Demon Lord's side ever again. He then talks to Akira through telepathy, asking him to nullify their contract because he is going to use a suicide attack to take Mahiro down with him. Akira, however, refuses to let Knight do that. Mahiro notices that they are talking through telepathy, but like every other anime villain, he decides to let them finish their planning before resuming the fight. Akira tells Knight that they can't win alone, but if they combine their power, they can take down Moreau. Knight figures out that he can't convince Akira to back down, so he decides to help him out as best as he can. He uses his shape-shifting abilities and transforms into Saren, shocking both Akira and Mahiro. Knight claims that this is the only form he has that can keep up with Moreau, but he also tells Akira that he can't maintain this form for long, and they need to end the fight quickly. Moreau immediately attacks them, but they dodge, and then Knight uses Saren's abilities to summon a giant golden hammer. Mahiro uses a light element barrier to counter it, but Akira notices that because of all that light, the shadows are becoming bigger and darker. He gives Knight the command to attack, and he follows, but the golden hammer shatters on hitting the barrier. Mahiro then creates a magic circle in the air to shoot lightning bolts, and Akira dodges all of them before using shadow magic to coat his body with his body enhanced by the shadow-clad form. He launches an attack on Mahiro, who starts facing difficulties dodging his attacks. Akira then destroys his magic circle, and Moreau decides to get him in close combat that he manages to push Akira back, but then Knight joins the fight. He keeps pushing Mahiro back using the skills he copied from Saren. Akira joins the fight as well, and together they push Mahiro against the wall. Akira begins thinking that if Saren was alive, they would fight together just like this. He gets nostalgic mid-fight, but manages to slash Mihiro's back and corner him. Knight tells him that his shape-shifting will wear out soon, and Akira tells him that he will finish the fight with the next move. However, Mihiro tells him that they are not going to win anytime soon. Akira is ready to prove him wrong when suddenly a hand pierces his chest. He turns around and finds that it was Amelia who stabbed him under Mihiro's control. Just as the control wears off, Amelia realizes what she has done. She is horrified on seeing her blood-stained hands. And as Shiru falls to the ground, everyone loses all hope of getting out safely from the dungeon. Amelia keeps apologizing to Akira as Knight returns to his original form and runs to his side. Akira tells Amelia that it is not her fault, and then remarks that it must be because of the first spell that Mahiro hit her with. Mahiro affirms that saying that his spell can turn anyone into his puppet and bring out their full strength. Akira struggles to stay conscious and declares that he cannot die yet. He swears that he will take Amelia to safety anyhow, but he grows closer to death with each word. Amelia and Knight scream out his name, but Akira takes his last breath and his eyes become cold and lifeless. However, the mysterious system gets active immediately and starts healing Akira's wounds using the white shadow magic. Mahiro decides to interrupt the healing, but his attack is blocked by the white shadow magic. Just as the healing is finished, Akira's body rises up on its own, and the system activates combat mode to take down Mihiro. No one understands what is happening, but Mihiro decides to finish the fight quickly. He attacks Akira with his magic blades, but Akira uses shadow magic to move faster than him and deals serious damage to him right away. Moreau then shoots some magic blades at him, and Akira blocks him with shadow magic before tying the nerd demon with IT. This point, Moreau realizes that someone is controlling Akira, and the system tells him to cancel the spell cast on Amelia and then retreat immediately. Moreau refuses to listen to the warning and declares that there is no way a human can defeat him because demons are the strongest species. The system tells Moreau that hard work is not always rewarded, but it can pay off sometimes, so no one should give up without trying everything they can. Mahiro is not in the mood to be lectured by him. So, he launches an attack on Amelia, who cannot move from her place. Akira's system deactivates just then, and he rushes to shield Amelia from the falling attack. However, the attack is led before it can hit him. Thanks to Crow, who arrived on the scene just then. Mahiro is shocked to see him because he knows that Crow is over 100 years old and he doesn't look that old. Crow admits that he is not in his prime, but he can still wipe the floor with him. Mahiro realizes that he is not bluffing. So, he acts like he is going to retreat because he doesn't want a long fight. Crow lets him act tough and allows him to create a teleportation magic circle that leads him back to the Demon Lord's castle. Leo thanks Crow for coming and says that she thought he would not show up, but he tells her that he was getting bored in his forge. Akira asks Crow how does he know both the demon and Leah, and the goth beast man tells him to get some rest before asking questions. Akira passes out immediately after that, and when he wakes up he finds Amelia next to him while Knight is sitting on his belly. He asks how long he was unconscious, and Knight tells him that he was unconscious for 3 days this time. Just then Crow enters the room, and Akira thanks him for saving everyone's life, but he also asks about Leah, and Crow replies that he sent the princess back to the capital. With that, he calls some guests inside, and Akira is dumbfounded to see that it is Sato and Asahi along with Seren's deputy Gil. He asks how can they be here, and Gil replies that he and Crow go way back like Trump and Clinton. He informs Akira that the heroes' party is leveling up and growing stronger smoothly, and they came to the Beastmen continent to get good weapons for them. So he gets emotional on seeing Akira again, and says that he was waiting impatiently to meet him. Akira is still processing how they got over the brainwashing spell, and Sato explains that Gil used his skill to make ahi cut through some crystals. That is how they got free from the brainwashing and were able to leave the capital. Sato thanks Akira for breaking his crystal and freeing him from the brainwashing. He is upset that Akira left the capital without telling anyone and says that he should have at least talked to him after realizing that he was in his senses. Akira tells him that the timing was not right that time, but he thinks that Sato has got the leadership skills to make everyone feel connected to him. After that, they call a meeting, and Akira asks Gil if it is fine for him to be away from the capital, and he replies that the king fired him and disbanded their night order because it was a nuisance to his plans. Asahi picks a conversation immediately after Gil stops and asks Akira to join them so that they can take down the Demon Lord together. Knight refuses on his behalf, saying that he is the only partner Akira needs. Asahi tells him to shut up, and Knight gets offended because he is treating him like a cat. Akira asks both of them to calm down and then asks Sato what is his plan for the future. Sato replies that he wants to defeat the Demon Lord, and Knight laughs at the idea. One girl from SS Group gets mad at Knight for acting so tough all the time. Akira asks Knight to give them some privacy because he needs to talk to his friends, and the Black Cat runs into the city. Akira then asks his friends why do they want to defeat the Demon Lord, and they tell him that it will give them a chance to bargain with the king who summoned them here. They think that if they can bargain with the king to send them back, and for that they need Akira's help since he is the strongest one among them. Akira tells them that their plan won't work because they can't trust the king and the princess who use curses to control people. He almost tells them that they use human sacrifices to summon the heroes, but decides to keep this information secret for now. His friends ask him if he doesn't want to go back to their original world, and Akira affirms, making Amelia sad about their future. However, Akira doesn't notice her and keeps telling his friends that second-grade demons can make teleportation circles, so stronger demons might be able to create magic circles that can take them home. He tells them that one day he is going to visit the demon continent and catch some demons to answer his questions, but till then, he has got other plans. Asahi asks if they can help him with his plans, but Akira refuses, telling them that they are not strong enough. He says that teaming up with them will be a great setback to him because he will feel like he is babysitting them the entire time. He keeps talking about how his method is the most efficient way to reach home. But this upsets Amelia so much that she leaves the room. Akira notices her only now and he decides to chase after her, and even Gil leaves to talk to Crow. Once Soto and others are left alone, they start sulking at Akira's behavior. The girls think he is getting overconfident and rude just because he is stronger than them. But the guys know that they need to prove their worth to Akira so that he can join their party. Meanwhile, Akira finds Amelia staring at the sea from a cliff and he slowly approaches her. She tells him that she thought she had accepted the fact that he would leave her someday, but she can't imagine the day she would be without him. She tells him that when her hand pierced his body, she felt she would go crazy because of guilt. However, now she feels a little happy that she stabbed him. She says that once Akira returns to his world, he will forget about her, but now he will always carry the scar that she gave him. She asks Akira if she is a terrible person for thinking like this, and he replies that he doesn't have the right word to answer her. He tells Amelia that she is really important to him, but she doesn't think that he will think the same once he gets back to his normal life. Akira takes her word seriously and pulls out his dagger, handing it to her. He tells her that in his world, couples put wedding rings on their ring finger to swear their life to each other. Amelia doesn't understand what he is doing till Akira makes a cut on his left ring finger. Confessing his love to her, he declares that he is willing to scar himself for her, and Amelia cries as she hugs him. She tells him that she loves him a lot more than he thinks, and Akira makes a cut around her ring finger as well, marking a promise to love each other till they die. Back in the house, Asahi and others wonder how they can convince Akira that they are worthy of tagging alongside him. One boy suddenly remembers a rumor he heard of the guild and explains that there's a festival going on in a nearby city right now and they hold a competition there each year. Surprisingly, the winner of the tournament always disappears shortly after that, and there's a rumor that they are abducted and sold in the black market. Everyone has the same idea on hearing this. They believe that if they can crack the case and catch the culprit behind this, Akira will notice them and then he will at least stop thinking of them as dead weight. The next morning, everyone goes to invite Akira and his group to join them to visit the festival. They just tell him that the girls wanted to visit the festival, so they decided to invite Amelia as well. Amelia just asks them if there will be food stalls, and when the girls affirm, she is more than happy to tag along. Once they reach the city, Amelia eagerly tells Akira that she thinks that the reward for the beauty contest must be food. She is excited to take part in it, and Akira starts smelling something fishy about the whole situation. Just then, they see a customer complaining to a receptionist about being racist. Akira decides to check out what is going on and finds that the girl is actually a demon, and she is upset because the beauty contest is not open for demons like her. While Akira is just shocked to see a demon acting so freely in the public, but Knight realizes who the demon girl really is. She introduces herself to Akira as Latte, and he is shocked because he doesn't feel any hostility or pressure from her. Latte suddenly clings to him and asks him to intervene on her behalf. But just then, Amelia walks up to them and separates them. After that, the receptionist tells Amelia to present a proof of identity if she wants to take part in the beauty contest. Amelia gives her name tag, and the receptionist is shocked to see that she is the Princess of Elves. The receptionist rushes to register her name, and then Amelia goes back to Akira and lectures him about flirting with another woman when he just promised to stay with her forever. Latte apologizes for creating misunderstanding between them and then heads back to the receptionist asking her why only demons are banned from the contest when humans and elves are allowed. While she is bitching about the rules, Akira is still apologizing to Amelia, who tells him that it is all right as long as he doesn't flirt with a demon girl. Akira tells her that he never flirted, and then he decides to intervene in the quarrel between Latte and the receptionist. He asks the receptionist to let Latte take part in the contest, and if she does anything funny, he will handle her. Latte thanks him for backing her up, and even the receptionist decides to let her take part in the contest since a companion of the princess is taking responsibility. Just then, Latte notices Knight, and he coyly greets her, telling her that he goes by the name Knight. Now, Latte smiles on learning that Knight has signed a contract with someone. On the other hand, Akira is surprised to see that they both know each other, but Knight says that he will tell him everything later. Meanwhile, Latte and Amelia hit it off on the topic of visiting the festival together. In the market, Latte begins appealing to random people and asks them to vote for her in the beauty contest. The people are shocked in seeing a demon openly revealing their identity, but Latte doesn't shy away despite that. She gives her autograph on one man's shirt, telling him that she wrote it in the script of the first hero. The man is so blown away by her confidence that he accepts the autograph, and then Latte tells everyone to form a line for handshakes and autographs. Some of Akira's sim classmates decide to join the line as well, and he is quite taken aback at Latte's odd behavior. Knight tells him that Latte is really weird, and Amelia replies that even though she is a demon, she doesn't give any bad vibes. As Akira is thinking about how Amelia is pretty weird herself, he notices some girls staring at him and giggling. He turns towards them, and the girls run away screaming, saying that the silent assassin just looked at them. Akira doesn't understand if the girls really were looking at him, and Crow affirms that. He says that Akira has become a famous man after he wiped out an entire horde of monsters on his own in front of the dungeon. Akira replies that it was indeed pretty flashy for an assassin, but Knight and Amelia tell him that it is what makes him special. Crow tells him that some people have started to call him the Dark Assassin and the Silent Assassin. He then suddenly remembers that the guild gave him a yellow tag to give to Akira after evaluating his actions during the demon attack earlier. He says that they decided to make an exception for his heroic actions and gave him a huge promotion out of turn. Amelia is happy for Akira and tells him that he can use the yellow tag as a proof of identity. Akira acts jealous because Amelia is at silver rank, which is much above him. But she replies that her sister is even stronger. She proudly tells Akira that Kilika is at gold rank and there are only 4 gold tag holders in the world. Akira's classmates hear all this, and they tell him that they are also at yellow rank, and if he ever needs some tips about making a living as an adventurer, he should ask them. Akira is not interested, and just then some girls call Amelia to have snacks with them. Sodto also takes the boys away, saying that they should spend some time gambling. Once Akira is left alone, he orders Knight to go after Amelia and make sure no one gets too close to her. Knight immediately follows the order and walks towards Amelia, and all the people quickly clear the path on seeing the black cat. Akira finds that Amelia is talking to some of his classmates, and he wonders when did they become such close friends. Crow replies that they took 2 days to get to the city, and that must have been enough time for girls to bond. Akira then asks Crow why did he tag along with him, because he doesn't look like the type to enjoy festivals. Crow asks him if he knows that he had a little sister, and Akira replies that he learned from Amelia and Knight. Crow says that the reason he has not tried to get revenge for his sister's death is not just because she wouldn't want it. It is also because he is too old now. Akira replies that he doesn't look old at all, and Crow replies that aging isn't visible for most beastmen. He claims that his strength has long vanished, and the man who killed his sister is always surrounded by strong bodyguards. As soon as Akira hears that the culprit is a noble named Graham, he remembers that it is also the name of the kidnapping mastermind behind the abductions. Crow then asks him why he thinks demons tried to kidnap Amelia as soon as he entered this country. Akira is shocked as Crow explains that Graham is probably selling information to demons because he can get information about anyone entering and leaving the city. Akira is furious on hearing that Graham was responsible for the attack on Amelia, but he asks Crow if he is sure about this. Crow tells him that he confirmed the news while Akira was asleep. He then reveals that he made Leah's staff and the magic stone in it resonated with one of his tools when Akira was in danger, and that is how he was able to arrive in time to help him. Akira asks why is he bringing up that now, and Crow coldly replies that he wants to put Akira in his debt so that he can make a request from him. Akira is stunned to hear Crow's request, but he tells him to take his time to make his decision. Just then, Gil comes there and says that it is almost time for the beauty contest to begin. Crow tells him to just say his name to the organizers, and they will give everyone a nice seat to watch the contest from. True to his word, just mentioning Crow's name gets Akira and others a VIP seat to watch the beauty contest. Asahi says that it is nice that they get some privacy because Akira would get a lot of attention otherwise. However, Akira is coldly staring at the stage without even blinking. Suddenly, his friends find that they can get a closer view of the girls by pressing the crystal ball in front of them. When it is Amelia's turn, Akira starts smiling as he sees her, and Amelia winks because she knows he is watching her. After that, it is Latte's turn, and she places some magic stones on the sides of the stage. The magic stones turn into disco light projectors, and then Latte introduces herself to everyone. She asks them to vote for her, and Akira asks Knight if that silly girl is really a demon. Soon the results of the contest are out, and it is a tie between Amelia and Latte. After that, Latte Loki becomes a member of Akira's group, and she talks about how she tried her best but still couldn't beat the elf princess. Akira tells her that she should be proud that she tied up with Amelia, and Knight gets nervous on hearing this. Latte eagerly asks Akira if he is interested in her now, but he clearly tells her that he is only interested in Amelia. Latte is not discouraged by this and says that she will win the tournament next year. But Knight asks her not to attract so much attention to herself because her father won't like it. This makes Akira even more suspicious, and he asks Knight about the real identity of the girl. Knight nervously replies that Latte is actually the daughter of the Demon Lord, shocking everyone. At the same time, the noble Graham is keeping an eye on Latte and Amelia. He tells his guards that there is no reason to take action right now, but orders them to keep a strict watch on Amelia. He is happy that he is getting a chance to do what the demons couldn't, and this will surely profit him. On the other hand, Akira uses his World Eye skill to check Latte's status window and finds that she has really insane stats. Amelia tells him that she always knew that Latte was incredibly strong right from the start. She taunts Akira about not using his World Eye before she told him because some people can suppress their mana, and Latte was using the same method to hide her true strength. Akira thinks about the horrible things he has seen through his World Eye and hesitates to give her an answer. Just then, Gil comes there and tells everyone that he booked some rooms for them. He asks Latte if he should book a room for her, too, and she replies that she doesn't need it, and the humans will be more comfortable without her around. With that, she tells Amelia that they will meet again tomorrow to collect the reward, and everyone goes back to their rooms. There, Soto tells everyone that he entered the male beauty contest and won. Amelia asks him if the prize for the male division is also food, and Soto promises to give it all to her if the reward is indeed food-related. Just then, Asai notices that Knight is not there, and Akira replies that he sent him on an errand. With that, the boys decide to hit the bath, and Amelia asks Akira to take a bath with her. He refuses because he cannot enter the women's bath, and then Crow reminds Akira of their talk from the afternoon. Akira decides to talk to him again. But Amelia gets jealous and pulls him towards herself, telling him that he needs to sleep because he has been awake for 2 nights straight. Akira tells her that he is all right, but Amelia forcefully takes him to the bedroom and uses magic to put him to sleep. She then storms outside to talk to Crow and asks what ideas did he put in Akira's mind. Crow replies that they were just talking business, but Amelia declares that she won't let him force Akira into anything he doesn't want to do. Crow suddenly brings up the fight in the dungeon and asks why did Akira fail to finish the Demon Aurum. Amelia replies that it is none of his business. But Crow says that Akira is weak right now and the only thing that can make him mentally strong enough to kill someone is saving Amelia. This leaves Amelia shocked, and she wonders if Akira can really cross that line for her sake. The next morning, Amelia and Latte head out to collect their reward along with Soto and others. Everyone is concerned about Akira sleeping for so long, but Asai thinks that it is a good chance for them to take action and prove their worth. They soon reach the location of the reward ceremony, and surprisingly it turns out to be an abandoned building. Everyone wonders what is going on when a bunch of assassins suddenly pop out of nowhere and tell Amelia to come with them peacefully because Graham has summoned her. Amelia refuses to answer summons from a greedy bastard who didn't hesitate killing his own people to run from danger. The assassins declare that they will take her away by force in that case, and everyone gets ready to fight. However, Amelia doesn't give them any chance and uses gravity magic to pin the assassins down. She asks one of them about the reason Graham wants her, and the assassin replies that he doesn't know the details. However, Amelia can tell he is lying through the World Eye, and she presses him even harder with her gravity spheres to get him to talk. The assassin reveals that the previous winners had their organs stolen and sold, and Amelia asks if that is what Graham plans to do with her too. However, before she can squish the assassins in her rage, Latte hugs her from behind and asks her to stop. She says that they shouldn't kill the assassins even though they are bad guys because even bad guys have a story. She stands in front of Amelia, declaring that she won't let her kill anyone in front of her. Coincidentally, Akira can watch the same thing because he is somehow linked to Amelia right now. He is happy that Latte stopped Amelia from killing the assassins because he didn't want to see her kill anyone. Later that day, Akira talks with Gil, asking how does he know Crow. Gil replies that his mother used to be one of Crow's students, but she could not handle his harsh training and went insane. His father was already out of the picture, so Crow had to take responsibility for him and raise him on his own. Gil says that Crow is basically his foster father and he owes him everything. He also doesn't hold Crow guilty for what happened to his mother, and Akira thinks it is the right thing to do. He remarks that Crow seems like a caring guy, and Gil agrees, saying that he has helped a lot of people, including Akira. He tells Akira that if he wants to pay him back for his kindness, he should hurry because the goth furry doesn't have much time left. Just then, Knight, who has shapeshifted into a bird, flies in through the window and tells Akira that he found out some crucial pieces of information. He tells Akira that lackeys of the noble bastard Graham have planted security cameras all around the town, and they are being used to track the winners of the beauty pageant. He says that Amelia is being monitored because she won this time, and on hearing this, Akira feels that he might need to make up his mind about Crow's request much sooner than he hoped. Akira then tells Gil about the magic devices that record videos and asks him what are they called in this world. Gil replies that they call them cameras, which comes as a shock to Akira before Knight tells him that a previous hero gave them the concept and they replicated it with magic. Gil tells him that there are many other things that were brought over by the previous heroes, and the most notable example is a country of Yamato where the food architecture and culture is the same as the homeland of a previous hero. Just then Amelia and the rest of the group return from their short trip. Akira immediately invites all the important guys for a private meeting in the back room, and Asahi gets his hopes up, thinking that Akira is finally ready to join their team. Instead of answering him, Akira asks him and Soto if they invited him to the city because they knew about the kidnappings of the beauty contest winners. The shocked S asks how did he figure that out, and Akira replies that he asked his cat to investigate the matter. Asahi and Soto apologize for hiding the truth from him, and explain that they wanted to prove their worth to him even though they failed to accomplish anything. Akira tells them that their intentions were good, and he is satisfied on seeing that they were fully prepared to fight. Asa asks if that means he will join their group, and Akira affirms, saying that they have the same goals, so he will help them. However, his priorities are different from the rest of the class. He declares that his first priority is to make sure that Graham never targets Amelia again. And Crow tells him that he needs to go to the Euro City for that, because Graham runs the Adventure Guild there. Asahi offers to help Akira with that, but he refuses, saying that he wants to do it on his own. Crow tells Akira that if he can do what he asked for, he will guide him through the Demon Continent because he has been there once. Gil decides that while Akira is dealing with Graham, he and the Heroes Party will head to the border of the Demon Continent and wait for further updates. Gil pulls out a map and Asahi suggests a spot to meet up. Crow immediately rejects that, and Gil tells the curious Akira that Crow's mom lives there, which is why he doesn't want to go to that place. Akira gets even more curious about that because he heard that even Crow is an old guy now, so his mother should already be long gone. Gil decides to save the story for another time, and then Crow suggests another point to meet up. Once that is decided, everyone starts preparing for their journeys. While Akira is searching for books to read during the 5-day journey to the capital, Amelia meets with Crow and asks him to stop putting stress on her man. Crow tells her that he just wanted to talk business with him, and it is not his fault if Akira was a snowflake who got stressed out by that. Amelia ignores that statement and requests Crow to take her as a student. He reminds her that he already refused her once, but Amelia insists, telling him that there are people after her life, and she doesn't want Akira to compromise on his ideals to keep her safe. Crow is low-key impressed by her determination to become strong enough to not be a burden on Akira, and he decides to accept her as a student soon after that. Akira is ready to depart, and Gil hands him one bag that he forgot to take from Seren's room when he was escaping the kingdom. Asa tells Akira that they will keep training and growing stronger as they wait for him, and they both tell each other not to die. With that, Akira leaves on the journey with Amelia and Crow. Crow starts teaching Amelia in the carriage itself, and she is so tired from the lessons that she falls asleep as soon as he stops. Akira asks Crow if he isn't being too harsh on her, and he replies that Amelia might be the most talented student he has ever taken. He says that he really looks up to Amelia because he has heard the legends about her creating new spells to revive people and save her country, that he tells Akira that he was so inspired by her that when he was asked to name a child born in the neighborhood, he used a part of her name. Akira immediately realizes that Crow is talking about Princess Leia, and he affirms. Akira then asks Crow why he treated Amelia so coldly when he respected her so much, and he replies that she was not as impressive as the stories he had heard. However, he has started to respect her again on seeing how well she can keep up with his lessons. He says that the hero he worked with had a spell that could copy or cancel any spell their enemy used instantly, and he managed to replicate that spell. To do that, one needs mastery of the ancient language, which is incredibly complicated. But Amelia is doing that easily by creating a new skill to understand the ancient language. Akira remarks that Crow is impressive for doing it manually, and he replies that he had a lot of time. He explains that beastmen already live twice as long as humans, and then his mother drank a weird potion when she was pregnant with him, which doubled his lifespan further. Akira understands it now, but then Crow tells him that a long life has not been of much use to him, and if he can only avenge his sister, he will die in peace. Meanwhile, Knight has gone solo to investigate the Adventurers Guild and the local government on Akira's order. But he runs into Laddie, who is wandering around aimlessly, as well as soon as she hears that Knight is investigating something. She picks him up and declares that she will help him with that. On the other hand, Akira's group reaches the Euro City, which is the capital of the Beastman Kingdom. Crow tells Akira that he will arrange for an inn and asks him to take Amelia sightseeing. Akira replies that he knows nothing about the city, and Crow tells him that he has summoned Leah, who should be here soon. He asks Akira to meet him at the massive fountain in the middle of the city in the evening, and tells him to enjoy his free time. Akira and Amelia decide to have a fun date before Leah shows up. They try a lot of food items and have some cute moments before the Beast Folk Princess arrives there to show them around. She takes him on a boat ride, explaining that traveling through the river is the best way to learn about the city. After that, Leah leads him to the royal palace, revealing that her father, the King of Errors, organized an official lunch to welcome the elven princess. On the way, Akira thanks her for saving their lives the other day and then asks if a barrier inversion skill was a modification of Crow's inversion spell. Leah gets flustered on hearing this and explains that her skill was just a modification of normal barriers, and it can be shattered if a strong attack is used against it. On the other hand, Crow's inversion is much more advanced. It can be activated instantly, and it cannot be countered by any attack. Leah admits that she tried to base a barrier inversion on Crow's special spell, and then Akira reveals that Amelia is learning from Crow, so he thought Leah might give her some tips. Leah freaks out on hearing that Crow is passing his inversion spell to Amelia, and then she remarks that Akira is as impressive as Crow. She says that he was really cool when he used his shadow magic to beat the demon, and Akira can't tell her that he wasn't in control of his power at that point. Soon they arrive at the throne room, and the Beast Folk King greets Amelia and Akira. After exchanging pleasantries with Amelia, he thanks her for saving his adopted daughter in the dungeon. Amelia says that it was Crow and Akira who saved her, and the king decides to thank Crow later. He then turns to Akira, saying that he has an important job that only he can do with his special skill set. Akira replies that he will think about the job after hearing the details, and the royal guards get furious on seeing him talk so casually to the king. However, doesn't mind and tells Akira that he has to assassinate a guy and in return he will be protected from everything in the country. Akira refuses, causing the king to panic. He increases the reward, telling Akira that he just needs to get rid of Graham somehow. It is Akira's turn to be shocked now, and he wonders why is everyone out to kill Graham. The king explains that he demoted Graham from the post of minister, but even as a head of the Adventure Guild, he is using his mercenaries to cause chaos, and the king wants him to be dealt with before he harms the reputation of their kingdom anymore. But Akira tells the king that it sounds like a you problem. The king once again offers him full protection in the kingdom, but Akira replies that he is strong enough to protect himself, and he doesn't need protection from someone weaker than him. This pisses off the Royal Knight Commander again, and he accuses Akira of not being as strong as the rumors say. Amelia gets offended by this and gets ready to fight the Knight Commander, but Akira stops her, saying that if he proves his abilities, things will be sorted quickly. The Centaur also likes the idea and requests the king to permit a duel between him and Akira. Despite Leah's objection, the king permits a duel, and the two men go to the arena to fight it out. Akira first throws his twin blades toward Amelia, and that pisses off the Centaur, who thinks Akira is underestimating him. As soon as the duel starts, he rushes toward Akira from the side and throws rocks at him to press him back. Akira easily escapes that and then dodges the swift attack of the Centaur before tying his hind leg with a rope. That is not enough to stop the Knight Commander, who pulls Akira towards him instead. Akira dodges his heavy axe and then uses a building to leap towards the Centaur to finish the fight. He chops his weapon into pieces and places a knife near his throat, winning the battle in the blink of an eye. The king is impressed by this, and Amelia tells him to never tell Akira what to do from now on. The king accepts that, but then he attacks Amelia personally, asking her if she is stupid to love a human who will live a much shorter life than her. His words stick with Amelia, and she stays gloomy even as she and Akira leave the palace. He notices her sadness and asks if she is all right, and Amelia replies that she is happy to be with him because he is really amazing. He thanks her for choosing to come with him over staying with her family, and she gets emotional on hearing that. She immediately hugs him, telling him that if he dies, she will die with him. After that, Akira reaches a luxury hotel that Crow has booked for free because the owner owes him a huge debt. Amelia tells him that they should roll around in the bed before dinner, but he refuses because he wants to read instead of having fun with her. Crow replies that he reminds him of another guy who had an insatiable hunger for knowledge, and he eventually came to be known as the Sage. Akira asks him more about that guy, and when Crow tells him that it was Saren, he is stunned. He reveals that he owes Saren a lot, and he will avenge him one day, and Crow tells him that he can do that quickly by taking up his request. Akira asks him what he means, and Crow reveals that the assassins the king used to kill Saren were actually sent by Graham. Hearing this is the biggest shock to Akira, and he starts seriously considering ending Graham's life with his own hands. Crow tells Akira that he already asked him to assassinate Graham earlier, and now he has many good reasons to do so. This makes Amelia mad, and she asks Crow to take back his request because it is insulting to Akira. Crow simply replies that the ball is in Akira's court now, and if he wants to refuse a request, he is free to do so. However, he makes it clear that he will guide Akira in the demon continent only if his request is fulfilled. Crow starts offering even more benefits of assassinating Graham, telling Akira that he will not take any fees or raw materials for repairing his weapons. On top of that, he will let him keep the guiding ring that points to the item he wants the most. And Akira doesn't even have to pay him back for saving their lives in the dungeon. Amelia rudely asks him to stop, but Akira signals her to not act as a lawyer. He tells her that she should not be so worried about him because this is his decision to make. Amelia is about to give him a lecture on why he should not kill. But Akira tells her that if Graham is really responsible for Seren's death, he will make sure to punish him. Also, he is targeting Amelia now, and killing him right now will be the best choice. After that, Crow tells Akira that he did not lie when he said that the king hired the assassins to kill from Graham. Amelia tells him that it doesn't matter, but Akira once again asks her to pipe down. Crow continues his report about Graham, saying that he is protected by a team of most powerful guards on the continent, and it is all thanks to some magic drugs. Those medicines roid up regular guards and make them as strong as demons while also taking away their free will. Crow says that Graham can create an army of brainwashed soldiers who are strong enough to fight demons at will, and that makes him really dangerous. Akira remarks that this is how the assassins must have killed Saren, and Crow agrees, saying that even Saren couldn't handle a group on the special boosters. Crow says that they need to finish Graham as soon as possible because the more they wait, the more dangerous he becomes. He says that Graham smuggles slaves and other items to demons in exchange for rare materials that can only be found on the demon continent, that he uses those items to create the boosters and expand his army even further. Akira finally realizes how big of an issue Graham is, and he leaves the room to think more about it. Amelia follows him with concern in her eyes, and Crow feels that no matter what decision Akira makes, he will cause a lot of pain to himself and the people in his life. The next morning, as Akira comes to see Graham, he looks tense as if he is still lost in deep thoughts. Just then, Leah comes there, and she immediately apologizes to Akira for what happened at the court yesterday. He tells her that it was not her fault, even though he was a little pissed at the king. However, the reason Leah is apologizing is that she couldn't stop her father from asking Akira to do his dirty work. Crow is curious to hear this and asks if the king also asked Akira to assassinate Graham, and he affirms before revealing that he turned him down. Crow replies that if Graham's evil deeds are revealed to the public, the king will lose respect. But if he tries to do it officially and fails, Graham's strength and reputation will increase. That is why he wanted a disposable pawn like Akira to kill Graham for him. Leo once again apologizes to both of them and says that her father even insulted Amelia. That is the only thing that makes Akira react. But Amelia tells him that it was something small that she doesn't even remember now. Leah begs him to give her a chance to apologize properly by showing them around the town. And on Crow's insistence, they accept her offer. Leah is glad to hear that, and she asks Crow to join them on the tour as well. As she guides Akira and Amelia through the hidden parts of the city, Leah thanks Crow for backing her up. Amelia notices something and asks Leah and Crow to go off on their own because she wants to spend some time with Akira. Crow understands that they need some privacy and says they will meet later. But once they go away, Akira asks Amelia why she did that. She replies that Leah is very obviously into Crow, so she would just try and support her. Akira is shocked at this because of the age gap, but Amelia isn't bothered with that because apparently age is just a number for beastmen. On top of that, she really wanted to have a private discussion with him. She takes him to a bridge and asks him to refuse Crow's request because they can go to the demon realm even without him. She repeats what Latte told her about even villains having their own stories and how they don't deserve to die for that. At the same time, Latte is still tagging along with Knight, who is on his wrecking mission. He can't believe that she is still not bored, and Latte replies that she will do anything to stay away from her dad. Knight remarks that he had only heard that she didn't get along with her dad, but he didn't expect things to be so bad. Latte complains that even if her dad is a demon lord, he doesn't get to bend the laws of the world. Knight asks her to elaborate, but Latte forgets all about it as she sees an inn nearby. She gets curious about it and enters the inn even as Knight asks her to stop. Once inside, she orders some dry bread to snack on while she talks with the receptionist. He asks her if she is an adventurer trying to earn some money, and Latte affirms, saying that she is aiming to test her luck in the capital city. The receptionist tells her to be careful because the high-paying jobs in the New York City are really dangerous, and there are rumors that even demons are involved there. Latte replies that it is not a problem for her, and then the receptionist suggests her to stick with the job of transporting goods to the human kingdom because even though they pay less, they are safe. Latte asks him more about it, and he replies that the guildmaster is using adventurers to transport the goods instead of companies that usually do it, probably because something shady is going on with that. Latte leaves the inn and proudly asks Knight what he thinks about her information-gathering abilities. He is impressed because he thinks that Latte had planned all that and says that they got a lot of valuable information about the guild master Astagran. However, he feels that Latte would have done a perfect job if she didn't leave an autograph on the inn's wall before leaving. Back in the city, Akira tells Amelia that Latte's words about learning the story of villains are indeed wise, but they won't stop him. He tells Amelia that he had decided to get revenge for Saren, even before he met her, and he needed to kill Graham for her safety. Amelia tries to assure him that she is getting stronger, so she will be fine no matter who comes after her. But that is not convincing enough. Akira tells her that if he turns down Crow's request, he will die a slow death, unable to get the revenge he desires so badly. With that, he ends his rant and decides to move on with the trip. At the same time, Crow leads Leah out to the city and she asks, where is he taking her? He replies that she will know once they reach the location, and Leah pouts asking him to stop treating her like a kid. She complains that he doesn't take her seriously and refuses to teach her inversion even though he is teaching it to Amelia. Crow replies that he doesn't want to risk destroying her mind by teaching her something like that. And before Leah can even process it, he tells her that they are at their destination. It is a field of red spider lilies. And Leah is really excited because it is her first time seeing. Crow tells her that these plants are from Akira's world and a hero from the previous generation must have brought it here with him. Leah tries to touch a flower, but Crow holds her hand, telling her that the flowers are poisonous. He then starts talking about how Akira told him that the red spider lilies represent death and afterlife, and that is why they are so beautiful. Leah is moved by that and asks why he brought her here. Crow tells her that he found these flowers during a walk and wanted to show them to someone. Leah responds that if he brings someone he likes to this place and confesses to them, they will surely accept his proposal, but Crow just scoffs at the idea. Leah insists that he will be happier with a partner, but Crow replies that he has given up on the idea of happiness from the moment he desired revenge for his sister. He declares that his only goal in life is to ruin Graham's life, and he doesn't deserve happiness. His words hurt Leah deep inside, but she can't say anything to him. Meanwhile, Sat's group is heading to the border of the demon continent, and they hunt a bear on the way because they are running low on food. They set up tents soon after that, and while other members go out to forage for vegetables and mushrooms, Gil sets up alarms around their base camp. Sodto and Asahi get some rest, and they talk about how Gil is going out of his way to help them. Asahi says that Gil is probably doing what Saren would have done if he was alive. Sodto immediately brings up Akira in the conversation, and says that he probably doesn't need anyone to help him. He says that he didn't really like Akira even on Earth because he always ignored him. Asahi tells him to chill because he was probably not registered in Akira's brain back then. Sodto replies that he is fine with the fact that Akira is not interested in people, and he is also aware that he is much stronger than them. The two boys talk about how despite being called heroes from another world, they are just a little bit stronger than the people of this world. Sodto says that Akira is different, not only because he is strong, but also because he doesn't doubt his decisions. He says that he wants to be as convinced of his actions someday in the future, but right now it might not be the best idea. Meanwhile, in Euro, Akira and Amelia wait for Crow and Leah near the fountain. Amelia asks Akira if he is really going to take up the assassination mission, and he affirms, saying that there are a lot of reasons he needs to do it. Amelia says that she won't stop him if he has really made up his mind, but she can see that he is not confident about what he really wants to do. Akira asks her if she will hate him if he kills Graham, and she replies that she will never do that. However, she wants Akira to love himself as well, and she doesn't want him to regret his decision. Their conversation is interrupted by the tantrums of a girl who refuses to leave a store selling pretty jewelry, and that reminds Akira of his sister who once threw a tantrum because she didn't want to leave the house they grew up in. It was after the time his dad left to get milk and never returned, so they had to move to a cheaper apartment to make ends meet. Akira accepted the reality without hating his dad who had to deal with a lot for the last 4 years. He looked after his sick wife, raised 2 kids on his own while working full-time, and Akira understood why he would have run away. His sister Yui, on the other hand, refused to leave the house she grew up in, but Akira convinced her that they needed to stick together now that their dad had vanished. They shifted to another apartment, and Yui complained that it was too small. Akira told her that it was a perfect size for the 3 of them. As he made lunch, he burned it a bit, but it was still good and his mother and sister enjoyed it. They offered to take turns cooking meals because they had to stick together, and Akira felt relieved that his family had not lost everything till he comes out of the flashback soon. And when Amelia asked him what was he thinking, he tells her that it was nothing. He starts thinking that one of the reasons he is still hesitating to kill Graham is related to his family. He feels that if he ever returns home as a murderer, he would have no right to stay with his family. On the other side, Knight and Latte reach City, and Latte is really excited to explore it. Knight, however, ruins her fun by saying that he needs to focus on the mission. Latte also understands that he needs to gather intel about the guild to help Akira, and she says that she will help him out with it. However, a few minutes later, they are in the market and Latte is enjoying a meat skewer, completely forgetting about everything else. She asks Knight to take a bite, too, but he only asks her what are they going to do about the mission. Latte just points forward and tells Knight that she feels some valuable intel in that direction. She says that they should search for it and then immediately rushes ahead with Knight impatiently following her. However, the direction that Latte was pointing in did not have any intel, but a ferry that she uses to see the city while enjoying her snacks. Knight begins losing all his patience now and directly asks her if she is ignoring the mission on purpose. Latte doesn't even take his accusation seriously and says that she is observing the city as they eat and she is gathering information from this activity as well. Knight doesn't know how to counter that and quietly accepts whatever Latte says. She immediately asks the ferryman to take her to the most popular tourist attraction in the city. And now Knight doesn't even have the strength to say anything. Soon they reach the central fountain and Latte enjoys the view while Knight is dejected. Latte says that the town is really beautiful just like Knight told her on their journey, and he feels like an idiot for getting baited by her praise and revealing everything. Latte continues enjoying the tourist attractions of the Euro City, and after a while Knight loses his temper. He asks her if they can finally get on with their mission, but just then Latte sees an adventurer and exclaims that this is their chance. She rushes to him and asks if he is an adventurer because his sword is looking quite fancy. The guy doesn't know how to deal with her, and Latte continues her rambling saying that she heard that the guild here is paying a lot of money for some special jobs. She asks him about the jobs, and the man coldly tells her to stop thinking about them because those jobs are quite dangerous. He says that the jobs are either criminal activities or involve dealing with demons, so he will not recommend any of them. Latte asks him about the criminal activities, and the guy replies that he can't talk about such things out in the open. He then starts ogling Latte like a freak and says that if she is willing to talk to him in private, he might be interested in telling her more about the jobs. Latte teases him, asking if he has fallen for her. And just as the guy affirms, she shakes his hand and says that she can't get into a relationship with him because she is going to be everyone's idol. The man feels defeated and leaves. And Latte says that if she had accepted his proposal, she would have gained more information, but she is not going to play with anyone's heart. Knight doesn't even know what to say to her. But just then he receives an urgent mission from Akira. Latte decides to help him out seriously this time, because he has put up with her all this time. They immediately head to Scout Graham's house, which is a huge palace situated right next to the church. Knight remarks that the palace is bigger than the church, and Graham probably did that on purpose to show everyone that he had more power than the church. He explains that their mission is to find proof of Graham's evil doings, and Latte remarks that it will be easy to do that at night. Knight agrees and says that they should check out another location in the meantime, which is the Adventurers Guild. They soon reach the guild office, and Knight wonders how are they going to sneak in, but Latte simply walks inside without thinking much. She finds 3 adventurers chilling inside the guild, and one of them tells her to leave because the guild is closed today. Latte nonchalantly asks her why they are here if the guild is closed, and the guy replies that adventurers who do Graham's dirty work get to stay and drink on holidays, though he once again tells her to get lost. But then his partner gets up and tells Latte that he will allow her to stay if she lets him have some fun. She tells him that no woman will like him if he does that, and pushes him down on his seat effortlessly. The other adventurers can't believe the big burly guy when he says that Latte pushed him down, but when they see his cracked armor, they are convinced that he is not lying. She walks out of the guild with that and tells Knight that she has figured out how to carry out their investigation. She takes him to a nearby alley from where they can see the entire guild and tells him to watch the roof of the guild building closely. It doesn't line up with the rooftop of other ground floor rooms of the building. She feels that there's a hidden space above the rooftop, and Knight also agrees with her. Latte says that they need to investigate it, and then without wasting a second, she grabs Knight and yeets him towards the guild building. He enters a hidden space through the ventilation holes and finds that there is really a secret room there. He searches the room, and soon finds some important documents that will be able to help Akira. He retrieves those documents and meets up with Akira, who thanks him and Latte for completing the mission. Knight mumbles that the mission would have been complete much earlier if Latte had cooperated, but she shuts him up playfully. Meanwhile, Akira begins reading the documents that have information about the production schedule for the boosters, the supply route for the ingredient, the record of different species kidnapped and sold, records of deals made with demons, and a list of mercenaries rented out to other kingdoms. Akira tells Crow that everything he said about Graham were correct, and Crow smugly says that he is no liar. However, he understands that Akira needed to verify the truth for himself before taking up an assassination job. Akira affirms, but then says that something seems wrong. Knight asks if the documents are not real, but Akira thinks that they look real and too detailed to have been forged. However, he can't understand how the documents were so easy to get. Knight replies that they were kept in a hidden room above the guild, and no one would have expected anyone to find it. Akira is not convinced, and even Latte agrees with him, saying that Graham wouldn't leave such incriminating documents in such an easy place. While everyone is racing their brains to find an answer, Crow says that the reason is quite simple. Graham actually wanted the documents to get stolen, and that is why he kept them in such an easy-to-find place. His theory is completely true because Graham has summoned 4 people to his dark office because they were the only ones who knew about the location of the documents, and he suspects that one of them stole it. Akira says that since Knight got the documents before any of the traitors could, so Graham's plan should have been spoiled. But Crow thinks that it won't be easy. He believes that Graham will still use the situation to his advantage and achieve his end goals. Back in Graham's room, the 4 men tremble in fear as they say that they don't know anything about the theft. He tells them that there is no need to lie because his guards have already captured the thief, and now they will torture him till he reveals the name of his employer. Everyone gets nervous on hearing this, but one of the beastmen appears really shaken, and Graham realizes that he is a guilty one. He orders his guards to finish him, and his order is carried out in an instant. The other 3 men are shocked to see this, and then Graham says that they have dealt with the traitor. So all that remains is to find the thief. They are confused by this because Graham just said that he caught the thief, but he just tells them to find the thief quickly because he is going to reward the one who finds him handsomely. On the other hand, Akira asks Crow how he knows about Graham's plans in such detail. Crow replies that he has his sources planted everywhere, and he knows that there's a conspiracy going on to start a war between the human kingdom of Reddies and Uruk, and Reddies officials are trying to bribe Graham's men for that. Akira is stunned to hear that, and Crow further explains that if Reddies finds out that their citizens were abducted by a royal of Uruk, it will be a fair cause to go for war. Akira asks him to stop and asks to elaborate why Rise wants a war with Uruk that is probably quite stronger than it. Crow calmly asks him if he doesn't know that the king of Redis wants to bring his dead wife back to life. Those words hit Akira like lightning, and he finally realizes what Saren meant when he said that the king was broken beyond repair and he was willing to pay any price to bend the rules of this world. Akira thinks that is impossible, and Amelia is even more convinced about that than him. She says that even her resurrection magic can only bring recently dead people to life, and Crow says that there's a revival spell called Equivalent Exchange ever more powerful than hers. It can bring one person back to life in exchange for the sacrifice of many other people, and the time of death doesn't matter to that spell. Akira now understands that the king of Redis wants to start a war to kill multiple people at once, and he is enraged. He tears up the documents, and Crow says that this will only delay the war between Redis and Euro temporarily. He says that the war will happen anyway, and once it starts, Akira's classmates who were summoned as heroes will be sent out to fight on the front lines. Akira says that he doesn't care about his classmates, but he can't let anyone die a pointless death. Crow tells him that their fate is in his hands now, and Akira realizes that assassinating Graham can stop a war and save countless lives. Just then, Latte says that she has valuable information. 2. She says that a restaurant in the city offers special meals today, and a nearby bookstore is offering a 70% discount on books. She says that since Amelia loves to eat and Akira loves reading, this is the best news for them as they could go on a wonderful date. Amelia is glad for her intervention, and she convinces Akira to go on a date for a change of air, however. Once they reach the market, Latte says that they need to queue early for the special meal, and the good books might get sold. She suggests that they should split up, and Akira agrees. He goes to the bookstore at night, and as they are busy talking about books, a thief snatches Akira's bag and runs off with it. Akira doesn't even notice it until Knight points it out, and then he chases down the thief to get the bag back from him. Once Knight returns with the bag, he asks Akira what is wrong with him, and he replies that he is unable to focus on anything because of his thoughts. Knight understands this, so he takes Akira to the fountain to talk about his dilemma, but he manages to convince Akira to open up about his troubles after a little pep talk about how they have a small life. Akira says that he feels that killing Graham is the right thing to do, and as an assassin, he is suitable for the job. However, he can't deal with the gravity of taking someone's life, and he doesn't know if he will be able to do that at all. Knight claims that he understands how Akira feels because taking lives affects even a monster like him, and killing countless people completely destroys a person from inside. He doesn't want Akira to become like him, but also tells him that there are moments when it is necessary to kill an enemy to save their loved ones. Akira knows that he needs to kill Graham, but he still can't make up his mind and thinks that he is because of his indecisiveness. However, Knight says that he is strong because he gave him a second chance at life. He declares that if Akira can't kill Graham, he will do it for him. And Akira replies that he will be an irredeemable scumbag if he makes him do that. He decides to see Graham for himself and then make up his mind about killing him or sparing his life. And Knight is glad to hear that. After that, they reunite with Amelia and Laddie and go to the guild building. Amelia thinks that they can ask the staff about the timings when Graham comes there, but Akira has other plans to lure him out. Latte decides to stay outside so that no one recognizes her, and the rest go inside. They find an adventurer who asks them what they want because the guild is closed. Amelia coldly tells him that they don't want to talk with nobodies like him, and just want to know when the guild master would come. The adventurer named Raoul doesn't like her attitude and gets ready to fight her. But Akira stops him before things can get any further between them. A wheelchair-bound receptionist named Korea comes there and stops Raoul from fighting Akira because she knows that he is a famous silent assassin. Raoul immediately becomes apologetic on learning Akira's true identity and claims that he became a fan when he saw him wipe out the horde of monsters with his shadow magic, but he couldn't recognize him in person because he looked so plain. He falls to his knees and begs Akira to accept him as a student, but he immediately refuses his request. Just then, Graham enters a guild with his guards, and Akira stares at him to judge if he is worthy of dying at his hands. Graham looks like an ugly bastard and completely ignores everyone while telling Amelia that he wants to discuss something privately at his mansion and would like her to accompany him. Akira immediately gets up from his seat. Sensing that the trouble is about to start, Graham takes a fleeting glance at him before telling him to piss off, as he doesn't have the time to deal with nobody. Raoul immediately tells him that he should talk with more respect since Akira is the silent assassin himself. But Graham tells him to shut up, claiming that he is well aware of who Akira is. He claims that Akira was supposed to be in the hero's party trying to protect the people of this continent against the Demon King, but he seems to be relaxing with girls and doing nothing else. Raoul tries to speak up, but Akira silences him before telling Graham that whatever he does with his time is only his business and no one else should be concerned about that. Graham laughs before taunting Akira, claiming that his mentor, who gave his life to protect him, must be rolling in his own grave after seeing what's become of the man for whom he was killed. This immediately changes the atmosphere as Akira asks who exactly is Graham talking about, realizing that he has hit Akira where it hurts the most. Graham goes one step further, claiming that he is talking about Saren, obviously claiming that he died like a pathetic loser, but it was quite a show. Graham claims that he put cameras all around the palace and even has footage recorded if Akira is interested in it. This really pisses Akira off, and he replies that Graham just made the biggest mistake in his life by admitting to the knowledge of his death. But Graham is overly confident in himself and commands his guard to attack anyone who comes in their way and capture Princess Amelia without harming her. Carrier tries to intervene, claiming that he can't harm the adventurers for absolutely no reason. But the guards don't care at all and end up attacking the poor wheelchair-bound girl herself. Akira immediately draws his weapons out and tells Raoul to take Carrier somewhere safe and out of harm. The guards immediately decide to attack, but they are no match against Akira, who expertly dodges their attacks, but realizes that there is something different about them as they seem much stronger than he anticipated. He gets pushback and decides to use a concealed presence ability. But to his surprise, the guards seem to be equipped with thermal vision goggles as they manage to track his movements, throwing knives and swords at him relentlessly. Graham laughs at the helpless Akira, claiming that thanks to his hidden cameras around the palace, he managed to understand his abilities and develop special magical eyes similar to the ones that Saren had. With these eyes, his guards are unstoppable and Akira has no chance against them. Akira decides to shift gears and goes for a closer quarter approach, while the guards draw their own short blades to deal with him. He is still much quicker than them and manages to outmaneuver them before finally landing the hit. But the guards seem to have a magical barrier around their body which protects them from damage, leaving Akira in a bad position. Thanks to his quick thinking, he manages to move out of the line of attack and uses one of the guards as a meat shield against the oncoming attack, thinking that he would be safe. But turns out that he was gravely mistaken as the guard simply stabs through the armor and drives the dagger deep into Akira, who realizes that this is going to be much harder than he had anticipated earlier, though he thinks about releasing his true power, but doesn't want to do it as it might endanger Amelia's life. His thoughts get broken as Amelia uses her own gravity spell to push the guards down to the ground while Akira tells her to run while Night holds him back. Akira breaks through a window and both him and Amelia quickly rush outside, hoping to confuse the guards and disappear completely. While running through an alleyway, they end up getting stopped by Latte, who quickly gets the gist of the situation and tells both of them to hold her hands tightly as she takes the air, effortlessly floating through the beautifully moonlight night. Akira thanks Latte for her help, claiming that things had taken a turn for the worse as she didn't come to their rescue. Latte tells him not to worry about it since they are her true friends, and she really likes them. While flying through the night sky, Akira remarks about how pretty the world looks from above, and Amelia immediately starts thinking about all the beautiful moments that she has spent with Akira, whether they were in the heat of battle in quiet evenings around the campfire or late at night when they were tired from the journey through the day. Finally, they descend down back to her right outside there where they find Night waiting for them. Akira thanks both Night and Latte for their help during the fight, and with that, Latte leaves for the night, promising that they will meet soon enough again. Back inside the inn, they sit down with Crow and tell him everything that happened. Akira explains that Graham seems to have some boosted soldiers in his arsenal who are specifically curated to deal with him, as they have a way to figure out even through his concealment ability and no matter how he hits them. They seem to have some kind of a special barrier which prevents him from any harm. Crow is a little surprised, claiming that if the soldiers gave him trouble, they must be really strong. Akira nods in approval, claiming that he could have taken them on one by one, but they were too strong in numbers for him to deal with alone. Crow tells Akira that he is not a warrior and head-on fights are not his forte anyways, and as an assassin, he must have his own ways of dealing with someone like Graham. Amelia intervenes in between, claiming that Akira hasn't accepted the job yet. But Crow claims that they don't have much of a choice now, as Graham is a K&D person who throws caution to the wind if he fails to get what he wants. He warns Akira that Graham will come at him with everything he has in order to find Amelia. Akira thinks about it for a while before telling both Night and Amelia to get some sleep, as he needs some time alone to think things through. After Amelia was asleep, Akira laid wide awake on her bed, thinking about Crow's words and realizing that he was telling the truth. If he truly wants Amelia to be safe, he has no other choice than to find and kill Graham before he makes his next move, that he gets all his gear ready when the crystal ball that Saren left him comes out of his bag and falls to the ground. Suddenly, a pre-recorded video starts playing where Saren claims that if Akira is watching this video, then it probably means that he is already dead. Saren claims that Akira should not worry about the happenings of this world, as his only goal is to return back to his own world, and tells him not to go on a path of revenge and try to find the killers in order to avenge his own death, as it's not something he should taint his soul with. Tears start flowing down Akira's face as he hears Saren's final advice being not to get consumed by revenge. The tears become those of frustration as he curses his own luck that he would find this message just now when he finally made up his mind about what needs to be done. He cries some more thinking about his mentor before apologizing to his memory, as he is not allowed to change his mind anymore since now it's about Amelia's safety, and not just revenge. So he packs his stuff and gets ready to leave when he finds Crow still awake, who asks whether he has made a decision with a heavy heart. Akira responds that he is going to kill Graham now, but he isn't going to take any more lives unless and until absolutely necessary, which includes the boosted soldiers at Graham's disposal. Crow claims that he has never met an assassin who is so averse to killing, but bids him good luck for his journey. Before he could leave, though, Amelia stops him, telling him not to go, as deep down she knows that Akira really doesn't want to kill anyone. Akira simply apologizes to her, claiming that his decision is final. And with that, he moves into the cold night. While walking by the lake, He spots Night chilling in the cool air, but Akira tells him to go back as he wants to deal with this mess on his own. Finally, Akira makes his way through the mansion where Graham lives and notices that another assassin seems to be at work. The assassin kills the guards at the main gate and enters the inner compound before getting ready to infiltrate Graham's bedchambers. Suddenly, he feels Akira's presence and turns around, realizing that he is going to have to compete with the best if he wants the money for this kill. Akira apologizes to the assassin in his head, as unfortunately he can't let anyone come in the way of his revenge. The assassin turns around and starts to fight. But no matter what he tries, Akira is just a better fighter and manages to outfight him, breaking his arms and legs before dispatching him and entering the bedchambers where he finds Graham sleeping on his bed. He takes his knife out and his hands start shaking. But when it comes to it, he stabs Graham inside his own bed and returns back to the inn. He finds Amelia waiting for him, and he immediately sits down with a heavy heart, claiming that after he killed Graham, he didn't feel anything and gets worried about the fact that he finally became a real assassin now and has taken someone else's life, breaking his own vow to himself. He curses himself of simply not killing the king when he first came here and had the perfect opportunity to do so. If he did that, Commander Saren would still be unwell, but because of his misplaced beliefs, Saren had to pay the ultimate price. Amelia immediately hugs him from behind, claiming that she will stay with him no matter what. And Knight says the same. This boosts his morale a little bit as he decides the next steps of action. He decides that he probably can't return back to his own home anymore, considering that he has taken a life, but he can surely help his classmates to return back safely to their own lives on Earth. And if for that he has to take any more lives, he is willing to do that and finally accepts his role in this world as an assassin. But that's where this video ends. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.